Do not adjust your television. What you are about to witness is a first in the 34 years of Monday Night Football. Brothers, twin brothers, square off on the field in prime time. Never before have we had to consider the strange and unique abilities of monozygotic siblings. Their ability to know what the other is thinking.
You know, yes. Mind if I borrow? No. What's a good
8:30.
Their empathy for what the other's feeling.
Look out!
Ouch.
For all their similarities, there are a few differences.
New York Giants.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Offense.
Defense.
Number 21.
Number 20.
Scores touchdowns.
Stop touchdowns.
Runs by Grande.
Runs over Tiki.
Played in Super Bowl 35.
Won Super Bowl 37.
Jukes Rondé out of his shorts.
Recovers Tiki's fumbles.
Teaches Rondé's Bucks a lesson.
Kicking Tiki's Giants back to New York.
Good looking.
Better looking.
Bigger.
Faster.
Promise Mom I'd win tonight.
Boys, I did not raise you two to fight on national television. Now do as you're told.
Are you ready for some football?
I'm ready.
Raise the curtain to the band. Did someone say lights?
The NFL is the big stage tonight.
New York's not afraid to give Tampa some lip, but it takes more than words to sink the Bucs ship.
Your ticket is punched.
The stars are in sight.
Everyone comes to play on Monday night.
Hit it.
Come on and hit it. Uh-oh.
Come on and get ready.
Oh.
Are you ready for some football?
A Monday night party.
It's a nationwide tour.
So let's get it started.
Blaze at the ready.
Gal and John on the mic. All
All
right.
my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
Tampa, Florida on a balmy night on Florida's Gulf Coast. Temperature is 70 degrees. You saw it downtown. Now this is Raymond James Stadium, home of the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who come out onto the field before a full house. And the subhead tonight, the Barber twins, Tiki of the Giants, Rondi of the Bucks, meeting on Monday Night Football. Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero, welcome to Tampa. When the schedule came out last spring, this looked like it might be an NFC championship game preview. So what happened? The winner keeps its scant playoff hopes alive. The loser is virtually done. Each team is 4-6. Giants first. It's a combo platter, of course, as it normally is with a lot of teams. Turnovers, inferior offensive line play, penalties, special teams. But if there's a defining game for the Giants this season, it's the Monday nighter in week 2 when they watched a sure victory against Dallas go down the drain in an overtime loss. As far as the Buccaneers are concerned, it's also a Monday night that's done them in. That's been their defining game when they came in with a 2-1 record against Indianapolis and somehow, some way lost a 21-point lead, blew it to Indianapolis with less than 4 minutes to play. They barely recovered. The defense has become very human since then. And on top of all of that, Keyshawn Johnson, as many of you know, was inactivated for the rest of the season because he's been a distraction to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll talk a lot about that, John. But in terms of the Johnson thing, that's really masked a lot of problems in Tampa Bay.
I think so. I think you throw a big camouflage over the defense. You know, when we were here last time, I remember sitting right here and saying that Tampa Bay has the most dominant defense in all of football, maybe one of the best defenses ever to play, but they're not playing that way. When they win championships, that's what gets them there. But their front line hasn't played well. Their linebackers aren't making tackles at the line of scrimmage, and their secondary isn't tackling. If Tampa Bay, over the years, was one thing, they were a good tackling team, and they started to lose that. If they're going to win and go anyplace, they have to get that back.
The Giants have no sympathy with problems of their own. Jim Fossil in his 7th year. They had Super Bowl hopes. Now they're just trying to make the playoffs. How tenuous is Fossil's hold on his job right now?
I think it's very tenuous, but I think that he shouldn't worry about it. And I don't think that the players ought to worry about it. At some point, you have to forget all that stuff, and you have to go out and play. That this is still a game that has to be played with emotion. And you can't go out there worrying about things. You can't worry about your coach's job. You can't worry about your own job. I watch the Giants, and Last week, they looked like they were just sleepwalking out there. At some point, you say, hey, get some life here. Get some passion. Get going, you know. And if I would say anything to them, I'd say, hey, go out there and for 60 minutes, go crazy, go nuts, and we'll get you settled down when the game's over.
Sounds good to me. One of these teams tries to get on a postseason roll tonight. Giants-Bucks on Monday Night Football. Tonight's quarterback coverage is brought to you by State Farm. The Lombardi Trophy currently resides in Tampa, but John Gruden's team trying to keep its playoff hopes alive tonight.
Obviously, being 4-6 with 6 games to go, you do the math. I mean, I think our players, our fans know, for us to have any kind of chance to compete in the playoffs, we better get our act together and win this game.
We'll find out tonight on the Visa Skycam. We'll have exciting and unique views of tonight's battle on Monday Night Football between the Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ready for the kickoff of tonight's game from Raymond James Stadium between the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And through the years, one of the really good guys to take the temperature of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has been the eloquent John Lynch. So who better to go to than John? And here he is with Lisa Guerrero. Lisa.
Well, Al, nothing has been routine for the Bucs this week following the deactivation of Keyshawn Johnson. And John is one of the leaders of this team. Do you think that Keyshawn's behavior negatively impacted the rest of the team?
Well, I don't know about that. You know, I think we all have a lot of respect for Keyshawn Johnson and what he brought to our team for the last 4 years. He helped us win a Super Bowl. Whatever happened this year, he didn't want to be here. And we need people that are trying to win football games. And we never doubted that in him. But when you don't want to be here, your heart's not in it. And we need to move on.
Now, John, with both teams 4-6, are you approaching tonight's contest as if it were an elimination game for the loser?
We got to have this game, no doubt about it. You know, we've given all our free games away, and we're approaching it like we got to have this game.
Thanks very much, John. Good luck tonight. Now, Al, if the Bucs want to make a run to the playoffs, their defense is going to have to regain some of that swagger they had last year and dominate in the fourth quarter. That's something they've had a lot of trouble with so far this season.
No question, Lisa. In fact, John Gruden has said, I'm missing a ninth-inning closer. That's the analogy he makes. A lot of signs referring to Keyshawn Johnson. John and I will talk about it through the telecast tonight. And, in fact, we'll have Rich McKay, the general manager of the Bucs, on with us briefly at halftime and talk to Rich about that decision. Brian Mitchell to run back the kick. Mitchell came over from Philadelphia his first year as a Giant. Of course, he's a guy who could maybe make the Hall of Fame as a run-back specialist, but not having a good year. Martin Gramatica, another guy not having a good year, kicking off for Tampa Bay. And here we go with the game beginning on a bouncing ball that is dropped, and a flag is down back at the 30-yard line, which means that Tampa Bay was offside as Mitchell brings it up to the 28. When you have a flag back at the spot from where the ball was kicked off, it means one thing. Somebody came across the line too early. Terry McCauley so signals.
You know, the Giants have pretty good field position here, but I think I'd make them kick it over. Gramatica, as you said, isn't having a great year, doesn't have a lot of leg in his kickoff.
Kicking team, number 26, penalties decline, first down.
Well, the Giants, I guess, figuring that the 28 is not bad. Interesting call.
Yeah, I would put him back there and let him kick it again and see if we could get something more from Brian Mitchell. But they want to get started with his offense.
And here they go at the 28-yard line. Terry Collins is the Giants quarterback. Tiki Barber is the running back. And there's Tiki cutting to his right, picking up 4. Let's take a look at the Giants starters.
Kerry Collins, Penn State.
Tiki Barber, Virginia.
Jim Finn, Pennsylvania.
Amani Toomer, Michigan.
David Tyree, Syracuse University.
Marcellus Rivers, Oklahoma State.
Luke Pettigrew, Notre Dame.
Wayne Lucier, Colorado.
Chris Bober, Nebraska, Omaha.
Dave Deal, University of Illinois.
Ian Allen, Purdue.
On 2nd down and 6, Collins firing, and the pass is in front of Marcellus Rivers and incomplete. Jeremy Shockey, by the way, not playing tonight, still inactive. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay defense.
Greg Spires, Florida State.
Lawrence Sapp, Miami Hurricanes.
Anthony McFarland, LSU.
Simeon Rice, Blair University.
Ryan Neese, UCLA.
Sheldon Quarles, Vanderbilt University. Derek Brooks, Florida State University.
Rondé Barber, Virginia.
John Lynch, Stanford.
Dwight Smith,
Tim Wines in Georgia.
3rd and 6. So David Tyree introduced himself as a starter wideout because Ike Hilliard has been dinged, but Hilliard has been in the game. And that is Tyree, who is now in the game in this 3-receiver set, making the catch, tackled by Wansley, and that's the first down of the night.
You know, that's one thing that Kerry Collins knows, part because of his offensive line and partly because on third down he's going to see some blitzes. And you see the overload on this side. Now Kerry Collins knows from his right side he's going to have a free rusher, and he has to get the ball out of there before the free rusher gets there.
From the Giant 40-yard line, Barber slanting to the right. And then picks up 8 yards up to the 48-yard line. 2nd and 2. He got in behind Wayne Lucier, one of the rookie guards. Deal and Lucier are both rookies. Bober is in the middle. Allen is a second-year player. Pettigrew is the only veteran up front.
Yeah, Wayne Lucier makes a good block. He's a left guard, and you're going to see him right here. He's going to pull and lead and make the block right out there. See him pull right there. Right there he makes the block. Tiki Barber follows him and just breaks right off the contact.
2nd and a short 2. And here's Barber into a lot of traffic, and he'll get wrestled down shy of the first down. So the Giants on 3rd and short upcoming now. John Lynch was right there to help stop number 47 at the bottom of the pile. 3rd and 1.
You know, they always talk about 8 men up, and that means you bring your strong safety up there. When the Bucks bring the strong safety up there, that's John Lynch. Instead of playing 4 defensive line and 3 linebackers, he becomes the 4th linebacker. Now remember what the Giants did last week against the Eagles. They had that short yardage, that goal line situation. They had 4 shots at it and couldn't get it in.
At the end of the first half. 3rd and 1. And it's a play fake, and then Collins is going to go deep and incomplete. So the Giants not content to pick up the yard on the ground. Instead, they go deep to Toomer and not even close. 4th down.
Yeah, it looked like Toomer was running one kind of pattern, and Kerry Collins is throwing another. You're going to see he's on Rondé Barber there. And it looks like Collins thought he was going to keep going, and Tiki Barber, maybe he was running a fade stop, and Collins was throwing a fade.
And now the Giants forced to kick from midfield as Jeff Fiegels angles one to the near side. And it bounds out of bounds. They'll mark it off, and Tampa Bay and Brad Johnson, their quarterback, will take the ball at the 18-yard line. So the Bucks have it 3 minutes into the game. The Buccaneers have it with 12:09 to play in the opening period. Their first offensive play from the 18-yard line, and they start with a double tight end set, and Johnson to swing it out, but out of the reach of Pittman because of the pressure put on by Michael Strahan. Here's the Tampa starting 11.
Brad Johnson, Florida State.
Michael Pittman, Fresno State.
Jamil Cook, University of Illinois.
Keenan McCardell, UNLV.
Joe Giravicius, Penn State.
Ken Dilger, Illinois.
Roman Oben, Louisville.
Kerry Jenkins, Troy State.
John Wade, Marshall University. Cozy Coleman, University of Tennessee.
Kenyatta Walker, Florida Gators.
2nd and 10 now from the 18-yard line, and the pass is caught by Giravicius, and he picks up the first down as he takes the rookie Frank Walker with him those last 2 yards to turn a 9-yard gain into an 11-yard pickup.
Yeah, the Bucks were in 3 wide receivers. Joe Giravicius has taken Keyshawn Johnson's place. He's what they call the X. He's the weak side wide receiver, the Z being the flanker. So what Keyshawn Johnson was, Joe Giravicius will be.
1st and 10. Thomas Jones in at running back, and Pittman is split to the left. So 2 running backs in the game, but one is a wideout. And Jones, who had runs of 51 and 41 yards last week against Green Bay, picks up 3. Here's the Giant D.
Michael Strahan, Texas Southern University.
Cornelius Griffin, Alabama.
Keith Hamilton, University of Pittsburgh.
Keith Washington, UNLV.
Brandon Short, Penn State.
Mike Barrow, Miami.
Dahani Jones, University of Michigan.
Will Allen, Syracuse.
Brian Clark, LSU.
Omar Stoudemire, Fresno State. Frank Walker, Black College, Tuskegee University.
Michael Pittman takes that short pass right there, and it will be 3rd down with Brandon Short making the stop. 3rd and about 7.
Yeah, Brandon Short was out there playing the corner position because Michael Pittman was split out as a wide receiver. So they had him isolated out there, and they tried to get the ball out there quickly to him. get a one-on-one, but Short made a good tackle.
Now Pittman in the backfield. I mentioned Jones before last week, 51 and 61 yards on the 2 runs against the Green Bay Packers. So we'll see a lot of action from him tonight as Johnson is under pressure, throws. It's caught shy of the first down by Ricky Dudley, shy by 2. Omar Stoutmire there to secure him, and that means the Tampa Bay is forced to kick.
He threw that one to the tight end. I think if he would have just held it just a little more, he had Joe Jurevicius. And that's one of those things you have to trust your protection, have to let your wide receiver work a little more, and Joe Jurevicius would have given him the first down.
Brian Mitchell, one of the great returners of all time, but this year Brian Mitchell in the Giants' first 10 games has run punts back for a total of 81 yards. Meanwhile, when Brian Westbrook ran a kickback to beat the Giants in Philadelphia, that alone was 84 yards. Tom Tupa. And he'll punt it away from Mitchell and out of bounds. And they'll march it off near the 30-yard line. And the official still going, takes it to the 34. No score in Tampa. Tonight's aerial coverage being provided by Bud Light, high above Raymond James Stadium. The mother of the Barber twins, Geraldine, down from Virginia. For whom is she rooting tonight?
I don't know. I talked to Rondé Barber about it the other day, and he said Mom's going to have conflict tonight.
Collins to throw, and that's caught, and a first down is picked up by Ike Hilliard. It's the first, I shouldn't say the first meeting between the Barbers, because they had met twice before, but the first since they each became a mensch. Now, the Giants, offense per game. Take a look at this, where they rank. First in first downs in the league. Third in total yards, and yet in points, 25th. That is making as little as you can out of great effectiveness otherwise.
There's probably 2 things, penalties and turnovers.
No question. That's Ike Hilliard making the catch. In fact, when we talked to Jim Fossil and we said, all right, so what's the first thing that comes to mind in terms of problems for your team? He said turnovers. With Gruden, he said one thing, penalties.
I think the Giants have penalty problems too, and I think they have red zone problems, and you know, it's just one of those things. And when we're talking to Kerry Collins about it, he kind of said we just haven't gotten any rhythm. You know, we haven't been able to put things together.
The Giants have been consistently inconsistent. And here's a penalty. Speaking of flags, Terry McCauley with the full start.
Snap. False start. Offense. Right guard. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
David Deal. Here's another way to put this. Take a look at this. Per 100 yards gained, which shows you what effectiveness or lack of your offense has. The NFL average 6.5 points per 100 yards. The Giants are dead last, averaging 4.97 points per 100 yards gained. Second down and 6. And Barber is run out of bounds just across midfield by Shelton Quarles.
You know what I think? Anytime you have an inconsistent offense, I think it's because your offensive line. I don't think if you don't have a group that has played together for 2 or 3 years or at least a year. I mean, the same group playing together, your offense in this league cannot be consistent. I think any team you look at and you say their offense is inconsistent, I think you go right to the line and say that's where it is. Look what they do in the silent count here. The guard and tackle hold hands. The guard lets go in the snap of the ball.
With the crowd roaring on 3rd and 4, and he's able to complete it over the middle to Tiki Barber. Rich Seibert, who was probably the best of the offensive linemen, the guard, he went out a few weeks ago. Remember, they lost Mike Rosenthal in the offseason. The Giants trying to patch and paste and cut on the offensive line.
And that's their problem. Now, here's their silent count. See, when the ball snapped, the left guard will let go, and then the left tackle, Luke Pettigrew, knows that the ball is snapped.
Giants with the Buccaneer 43. Barber. 3-yard pickup. Tiki to the 40-yard line. Tiki Barber coming into the game with 918 yards this season. His average is good, 4.5 yards per carry.
Tiki Barber's a good player. I mean, Tiki Barber's a tough guy. He runs inside, he runs outside. He's a receiver, and his one but is that he'll fumble once in a while.
He's lost 5 of them, and that's another reason the Giants have been so inefficient in terms of scoring points. Well, speak of it. And the Tampa Bay Bucks with Shelton Quarles at the bottom of the pile, but no signal yet.
I don't think that's Tiki Barber's fault. I think we're going to see Kerry Collins. It looks like he pitches it. Well, maybe it is Tiki Barber's fault. I was going to say it looked like Tiki Barber expected a handoff, and he got a pitch.
And still no indication as to who had it. Regardless, it's Tampa Bay. Officially, the way the statistical structure is set up, it is not Barber's fumble. That one will be charged to Collins since Barber never had possession. But what you see is what you get. You get a fumble, you get Barber dropping the ball, and Tampa Bay with a turnover.
And I think that was miscommunication because it didn't look like Tiki Barber was ready for it. And we were just talking about what was wrong with the Giants. There it is.
So we had a player that was not happy here. He was unhappy with me. They tell me he was unhappy with the previous staff, his role in this offense, the city of Tampa, whatever it was. I think it's important to have people committed to being here and helping fight our way out of the hole that we're in right now. I know personally my feelings are hurt over this matter, but you got to be resilient. You got to have resolve in life, or you'll be a basket case and you can't survive in pro football.
John Gruden talking about Keyshawn Johnson and the inactivation for the rest of the season. And this is Thomas Jones picking up 2. And John, one of the strange things about this is I can't recall a situation where you inactivate somebody for the rest of the season. You can suspend him, you can release him, you can waive him, fire him in effect, but I've never heard of any activation for 6 weeks.
And that's something you have to do every week. That means he's still part of the 53-man squad, and then each week, 2 hours before the game, you just declare him inactive. And my feeling, first of all, on it is that the things you allow to happen when you win, you have to live with when you lose. And I think, that shot we just have of Keyshawn, arguing back and forth with John Gruden, that was a year ago. I think when you let that stuff go when you win, then when you start to lose, that becomes a cancer.
It festered. 2nd and 8, and it's caught by Aaron Stecker, the 3rd running back, and Stecker gets loose into Giant territory, breaks a would-be Mike Barrow tackle and picks up 12 yards to get the first down. One of the things Gruden said when we talked to him yesterday about Keyshawn was that he missed charters, he missed practices, he missed workouts, he missed curfew. And he said when you have a player who wants to defy everything a coach, and then he began to trail off, but that's all he had to say.
And I think so. I mean, when you get to the point you can get pushed so far, at some point, as a person, as a coach, you have to get rid of it.
From the 41-yard line. Johnson throwing to the outside, short and behind Keenan McCardle. This was against the Rams last year. And remember, this was only Gruden's 3rd game as a head coach. So Keyshawn made his feelings known quite publicly about John Gruden. And there it was in the 3rd game of Gruden's tenure as the Tampa Bay coach on Monday night.
Yeah, and I think that's when it has to be stopped. It has to be stopped, instead of hugging after the game, I think that conversation should have been, we have something to talk about, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 42-yard line. Pittman takes it to the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 7 coming up. And there are Johnson's numbers. Remember, he came over from the Jets for 2 first-round picks. The Jets that year wound up with a total of 4, and one of the picks was Chad Pennington. This year, as you see at the bottom there, 45 catches. He's having a decent season for 600 yards. Rich McKay is the general manager here, and we'll talk to Rich, as I mentioned before, as part of the Toyota halftime show.
Yeah, Keyshawn was a good player. He was a tough guy. He blocked. He caught those crosses, those short passes.
On 3rd and 9, Johnson slings it to the outside, and that's caught by Keenan McCardle. And where are they going to put the ball? As he is forced out of bounds. And they now say it's incomplete. He caught the ball on the chalk, so it's 4th down and 9.
You know, one thing the Bucs aren't going to do, and you know John Gruden would do this, the one guy they're not going to let get to Brad Johnson is Michael Strahan. You get a chip, then you get a tackle, then you get a guard. They have 3 guys on Michael Strahan. And the Philadelphia Eagles did the same thing to him last week. You know, especially early in the game, they're not going to let him get started hot.
4th and 9. Tom Tupa with more than likely a pooch kick or an angled kick with Mitchell back there. And that's a pooch. Bouncing at the 5. That's good enough for best in show. Jermaine Phillips downs it inside the 2. 3:50 left in the period. No score in Tampa. Up to the Apple next week. We go to the Meadowlands. The New York Jets will be hosting the Tennessee Titans. We'll see about Steve McNair, who came out of yesterday's game with a calf injury. Some tearing of the tissue, but he's not being ruled out next Monday night. Tennessee against the Jets on Monday Night Football. From the 2-yard line now, Collins gives the ball to Tiki Barber, who picks up 1. And John, when we look at this Tampa Bay defense, and we've been talking about how they've been shredded a lot this year, one thing to keep in mind, Brian Kelly, the great cornerback from Monty Kiffin's crew, tied for the league lead in interceptions last year with 8. They lost him in that game against Indianapolis. They lost Dexter Jackson in free agency. They lost Al Singleton, so they're trying to rework that unit as well.
Yeah, and then they get injured. I mean, they lose a Ryan Leaf, and then they get him back. They lose Shelton Porral. So they haven't really had their entire group together all year either.
2nd down and 9 from the 3-yard line. Collins throws, and Barber almost was able to pick it off, but Amani Toomer wrestles it away at the 10-yard line.
That is a dangerous throw down there. And as you said, Amani Toomer wrestled that away from Rondé Barber, because Rondé Barber's out here and he's going to get a jump on it. He comes inside, he beats Amani Toomer to it, and luckily, I think Kerry Collins just luckily got that ball a little to the outside, and Amani Toomer was able to, as you said, he wrestled it away from Rondé Barber.
What a great play by Toomer. Turns an interception into a completion, gives them breathing space out to the 10-yard line, sets up a 3rd down and 2, and then Barber can't cash in, but there's a flag down at the inception of the play on the far side.
Snap. False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Second call on Deal.
You know, and that's what we were talking about. Inconsistency of the offense will come from inconsistency in the offensive line.
Deal, rookie from Illinois. As you can see, the Giants rank 3rd in penalties per game, and the Bucs are tops in the league. That's not a category you want to be number 1 in. Most penalty yards per game.
This is where these Bucs fans are so excited, because they remember last week, when Green Bay started on the 2-yard line, they went 98.
For the game-winning touchdown. 3rd down and 7. Collins out of the gun. Going deep and incomplete. The coverage by Barber was excellent. Amani Toomer was moving down the sidelines, and the Giants will have to kick out of the end zone.
You know what they tried to do? They tried to get Rondé Barber to bite on that slant again, and then they ran a slant and go, because they thought the minute he would see that slant coming, that Rondé Barber would take that angle again, then they'd run the slant corner on it. Rondé Barber, because it was 3rd down and long, he just stayed off.
Reggie Barlow is back to receive Jeff Beagle's kick. Pretty good kick. 44-yard line. Barlow into Giant territory, and he brings it back to the 43. So Beagles with a 52-yard boot, 16-yard return. 1:32 left in the first. Giants nothing, Bucs nothing. Nice night in Tampa. Had some sprinkles before the game. Dry right now. 70 degrees. Brad Johnson takes over at the New York 43 with a minute and a half to play in the quarter. Johnson protected well, deep over the middle, and a flag comes in. Ricky Dudley, the tight end, through the middle, the intended receiver.
I think the way Joe Juravicius is pointing that the penalty was on him. I mean, you know, against the Giants, but on Joe Juravicius.
Frank Walker.
Illegal contact, defense, number 41, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's Frank Walker, the rookie from Tuskegee. Remember one thing, too, Will Peterson, their great cornerback, is on injured reserve. He's out for the year.
And you see they're right up there, and it was on Joe Juravicius. After 5 yards, you can't touch him. So again, after the 5 yards, when Walker got that push in there, that was when the flag came out.
At the 38-yard line, first down. They give it to Pittman. Nice play by Dhani Jones, the linebacker, stopping him in his tracks. Short gain will be second down and 9. And that's another big loss for Tampa Bay. Mike Allstott hurt his neck early in the season. In the Monday night against Tampa, in that game, they sent him to Pittsburgh earlier in the day. The doctor cleared him to play. He played that night briefly, but then sustained a further neck injury, or aggravated it. Now he's gone for the year.
Right, and he's had surgery, and I guess they put a plate in his neck, and John Gruden said that he expects to be playing next year.
Second and 10 from the 38-yard line. Johnson hit as he throws, almost had his head taken off by Brandon Short, and there's a flag down. And that's why he almost had his head taken off, and that's a personal foul.
Yeah, they usually call a penalty on almost taking guys' heads off.
Yes.
But he probably got the face mask, too.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 53, contact to the head. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, Brandon Short came on a blitz, and he came untouched. You're going to see him. He's right here. Now watch him. He's going to come free. He's coming free. Well, he wasn't free right there. He got blocked. But watch him as he gets blocked. He just reaches out there, and it was a face mask. I mean, it was a roughing the passer, but also a face mask.
And so the Giants with another penalty, and both of Tampa's first downs on this drive have come via penalty. Thomas Jones is in the game at the running back position. First and 10 now at the 23-yard line, and they give it to the ex-Cardinal, as is his running mate Michael Pittman, both former Arizona Cardinals, and Short makes the stop here.
You know, we expect at some point seeing Ronde Barber on offense tonight. Haven't seen him yet, and usually when you do something like that, you usually do it at this position in the field before you get to the 20-yard line. So they're getting awfully close to the 20, so I don't think the Bucs will do it on this series.
Gruden saving it, but it'll probably happen before the night is done. Second down and 9 at the 23-yard line. Aaron Stecker is in the game as the running back. He stays in the block, and then Johnson's going to take off, but he's going to be taken down at the 21-yard line. Michael Strahan with a tackle. It'll be third down upcoming, and that's the end of the first quarter. End of the first quarter. It's the Giants nothing and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. In Tampa, Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero as we start the second quarter. The Giants and the Tampa Bay Bucs each fighting to remain alive in the playoff hunt, each coming in with a mark of 4-6 with no score. Michael Strahan, by the way, on that last play where Johnson took off, actually tackled him slightly behind the line of scrimmage, so that is credited as a sack, and that's his 11th. The league leader is Sean Ellis of the Jets at 11.5, and Simeon Rice of Tampa Bay also has 11. Both teams get back on side as we start the second quarter, and Johnson's going to throw, and he finds his man inside the 10. That is the unheralded but terrific Keenan McCardell, who in his 12th year out of UNLV has been maybe their most valuable player.
You know, and this is what the Bucs do so well offensively, is this bunch formation where they have 3 receivers right here, and then they just all come off the line of scrimmage. One goes out, one goes on a hook, and the other one goes deep. The guy that hooks or stops is Keenan McCardell. As he stops and turns, Brad Johnson puts the ball right there. Watch what they do to Michael Strahan. They are not going to let him get there. That's the guard and the tackle. Every pass play, they have double Strahan.
First and goal, and that's Strahan making the tackle on Pittman. The Giants, we've talked about their offensive problems. Defensively, think of this. The Giants have given up 12 consecutive red zone touchdowns. In other words, each time in the last dozen times that a team has driven inside the Giants 20, they have scored a touchdown.
You know, one of the things that they're doing, as I said, Al, is on that play was a running play, and they don't double him on a running play, but every pass play, they double Michael Strahan. So someone from the middle or someone from the other side has to make a play. If they're going to slide this way, they're sliding away from the other side.
This time they take Strahan out of the play, and it's caught by Charles Lee. And Lee is a kid who now has a chance to emerge with Keyshawn Johnson inactive. Lee is the guy that's going to see a lot more playing time, and he makes his first catch here, 3rd and goal.
That's what John Gruden said. He said after he told Keyshawn that he was no longer wanted around here to leave, he went up to Charles Lee and he says, get ready to play. You're going to play. Now we know that Joe Juravicius starts for him, but Joe Juravicius was a 3rd wide receiver. Now that he starts, Charles Lee becomes a 3rd wide receiver.
Lee, 4th year out of Central Florida. That's his first catch of the season. On 3rd and goal, Johnson. A flag is thrown. He's going to get sacked, but did they grab a face mask? Or was there holding?
Usually that call comes from the umpire as holding.
Now it's going to be a personal foul. It's a face mask. It's going to be against Keith Hamilton, and the Giants would have stopped them, but again the penalties come back to kill them.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, defense, number 75, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's the key part right there, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. Here's Keith Hamilton right here, number 75. And you're going to see him. He starts here now. Sometimes you just go to grab something. And, you know, he wasn't going for the face mask. He wasn't going for the helmet. He's just going to grab to make a tackle. And as his hand goes across there, he just grabs a piece of that face mask. That is tough. That's a tough penalty.
You saw Barber looking at the replay on the board. His expression told it all. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Johnson fumbles at the 3. And at the bottom of the pile.
Doesn't this kind of look like who can give it away to whom?
Doesn't it? And Tampa has it. Somehow the Bucs come up with it. That's the 2nd fumble where you had to wait a long time to find out who recovered. In both instances, it's been the Bucs.
You know, and this is where you have to be able to run the ball, and I don't think that Tampa has any confidence running the ball. When's the last time they scored a rushing touchdown?
Well, the only guy who has scored a rushing touchdown this season for them is Mike Allstott, who hasn't been active in weeks.
And I think that's a big thing. You know, we talked about losing Keyshawn Johnson, losing Mike Allstott. This is the area. You know, down here, I really feel you have to be able to run once you get inside the red zone. He was the guy that provided that for him.
2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line. And they give it to Jones. And the line judge and the head linesman both come in and say, no, not quite.
This is the thing. You watch a guy with speed and Jones, and watch how low he gets here. You get the rushes going up the field. Now, your hand can hit, but you're not down until another part of your body goes down. Your hand doesn't count. It's where the ball is when your knee goes down, or the first thing that hits other than your hand.
Now you have Warren Sapp and Anthony McFarland. This is not that unusual. Coming in for leverage offensively. The 2 defensive linemen. 3rd down and goal. And the ball is given to Jones. Touchdown as he leaps in. And for the New York Giants, that's 13 straight red zone touchdowns given up. And think of this, 3 first downs on this drive by penalty.
And watch what Thomas Jones does here. Once we saw him go in underneath, that time he goes over the top. When all those defensive guys take a gap and they all get down low, that's the place to get in the end zone, over the top of it.
Dramatic enough for the point after. And so 43 yards go to the Bucs. after the Giants are forced to punt from their end zone. 3 first-down penalties along the way. 7-0 Tampa Bay.
Let the man go through. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through.
Kerry Collins hoping this is a better Monday night than he's had in the past. He and Jim Fossil together have been quarterback and coach in 5 Monday night games. Record 0-5.
Yeah, and Kerry Collins, to me, has always been a slow starter anyway. It takes him a while to get into the game, and you hope by the time he gets into it, it's not over for him.
As have the Giants as a team in the past few years. They've played much better coming down the stretch, and they better to have any chance to get into postseason play. Touchback here, 11:21 remaining in the opening half. Tampa Bay 7, the New York Giants nothing. On behalf of all of us at ABC Sports, we want to extend our condolences to the family of Rich Umansky, who passed away over the weekend. Rich was a cameraman for us for 20 years. We've missed by all who worked alongside him here at ABC, and our thoughts and our prayers tonight are with his family. Rich was a very good man. 1st and 10 for the New York Giants as Tiki Barber picks up 1 up to the 21-yard line, and Tim Wansley, who took over for the injured Brian Kelly a month and a half ago, made the stop.
You know, and Rondé Barber, his twin brother, is flipping back and forth between right corner and left corner. And that time it was Tim Wansley, the corner, who had to come up and make that tackle on a force. I don't think that Rondé has had to come up on a tackle on a force and tackle Tiki yet, has he?
Not yet. It'll happen. 2nd and 9, and Collins dumps it off. And that was Wansley again coming up and taking down Tiki after a very short pickup.
There's just no one open on that. I mean, he had plenty of time there, Kerry Collins did, and he was working, looking, and he just couldn't find anything. And this is a guy I think he would really like to find, is Jeremy Shockey.
Strained his knee a couple of weeks ago. At first it looked like he'd be out for the rest of the regular season. Then all of a sudden he got better in a hurry, came out tonight, and it was a game-time decision to not activate him. But they expect him back next week. 2nd and 8. Collins throws, and it's underthrown. And somebody lost his helmet, and that somebody is Warren Sapp. You saw the helmet come flying through there. And God forbid Warren should bend down to pick it up. There's a little foot flip, big smile, and off he comes.
Anytime it's 3rd down and you stop the other guys and you get to come off, you're going to be happy about it. Watch Warren Sapp. There goes the helmet. Now, some guys, when they lose their hat, they just quit playing. Not Warren Sapp. When he got a pass rush and it's 3rd down, with or without hat, he's going to keep coming.
That's his dream, get his hat off on the field without a penalty being called. Fiegel's kick short, fielded 43 by Reggie Barlow. And the erstwhile Raider gets tackled at the 45-yard line by Darnell Dinkins. 9:53 remaining in the hand. The Bucs up 7-zip. Here on ABC, and it is that time of year. I can almost smell it, John.
Right. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
From the 45-yard line, 1st down for Tampa Bay. Bucs on top, 7-0. And Brad Johnson throws, and a little miscommunication there as Jaravicius turned inside, passed outside. The Bucs losing some excruciating games this year. I mean, you start before that Monday nighter, they played Carolina here. They're ready to tie the game at the end of the game, and they do, and then they can win the game with an extra point by Gramatica, and it gets blocked, and then they lose to Carolina in overtime. That was the first of the wrenching defeats. 2nd down and 10. Johnson throws, caught on a slant. McCardell loses the football, and the Giants have it. Johnny Harris knocked it out, and Will Allen recovers for New York.
And McCardell was wide open on that. The Bucs were in 4 wide receivers. Keenan McCardell is the outside guy. And what they're going to do, he's outside here, and they clear here, and then he's going to come under. See him come under, and at this point right here, he's wide open, has the entire middle of the field, And we see that happen so many times when the first guy in there, it's not always the second guy, it's the first guy, part of his tackle is also stripping. And that's exactly what Johnny Harris did. What's that? You know, it's not that they just go for the strip, nor they just go for the tackle. They go for the strip tackle.
And he did it perfectly there. And now Collins on first down from the 40-yard line hits Barber. And Barber gets into the secondary before he's taken down by Derek Brooks, and that's a first down. Each team now with one turnover, and the Giants have a chance to cash in.
You know, if you're going to get the ball to your outside receivers, you have to have a threat inside. And that threat inside right now is Tiki Barber. You know, you would like Jeremy Shockey to be there. Then you have Barber and you have Shockey. And then outside you have Amani Toomer. But, you know, when you don't have Shockey, then you have to use Tiki Barber to be your inside pass threat.
Mom Geraldine watching the boys have at it. First down. And over the middle to tight end, Marcellus Rivers picks up 8. Let's check in with Lisa Guerrero. Lisa.
Well, Al, you guys were just talking about Jeremy Shockey. I spoke with him before the game, and he was very disappointed that he is not playing tonight. He ran around in warm-ups. He didn't feel any pain, he told me, and he was begging, he said, to suit up and contribute. He said that this game is a must-win for the Giants. He should be playing tonight. He did guarantee me that he will play next week, as you mentioned earlier, Al, but that might be too little, too late for New York fans.
It might be if they lose this one in particular. Next week, they are home against Buffalo on Sunday. And Barber knifes his way for a first down to the 35-yard line, where he's tackled by Ryan Neese.
You know, I was talking about what the Giants have to do, you know, is play with emotion and passion and life and just go out there and go crazy. And I think part of that would be helped if they had Jeremy Shockey, because I think he's that kind of guy anyway. And I think that, you know, you lose a Rich Soybert, the left guard, who has some of that in him, and you lose Shockey, and then you lose some of that emotion that you have to play.
Collins has another first down. That's Hilliard, and Wansley runs him out of bounds. And so here are the Giants getting the break on the strip and the fumble and picking up 17 and another first down.
Yeah, it was funny the other day that Monty Kiffin was talking about Wansley, and he said he doesn't understand cushion. You know, that he plays against Marvin Harris and he doesn't give him enough cushion. On that play, he gave way too much cushion.
First and 10, the ball at the 18-yard line. Halfway through the second quarter. Collins too far in front of Amani Toomer. It'll be second down.
And what they do is Tampa Bay is up there and they have 8 men in the box, so they're having to play that cover 3. So that's going to give him, it's going to get him off and give him that post in there. I think that Collins has it. All he has to do is put the ball right there, right now on Amani Toomer. He just let him out a little too much. That was a good call for that situation and that defense.
Second and 10. Barber to the outside. Nothing happening there. Shelton Quarles, 53, stops him, flag down on the near side of the field.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, second down.
A great look. Terry McCauley with the reverberating feedback. Luke Pettigrew, another penalty on him. 13th penalty on Pettigrew, and he's tied for the league lead with Kenyatta Walker, who's also in tonight's game for Tampa Bay.
You know, and Kenyatta Walker's playing right tackle tonight, but he's played left tackle, and that's a tough position. I mean, they're going to get it. It takes a lot of discipline. You're usually on the open side. You're usually playing against a speed rusher. You're farther away from the quarterback than the center and the guard. It's harder to hear, but you still have to hold your water.
And the Giants regroup with a timeout. Right here on the American Broadcasting Company.
What is that? You have Thanksgiving traditions on Friday?
Why not? I mean, it goes the whole weekend.
You know what the tradition of Friday after Thanksgiving is?
On second and 15, it's caught there by Toomer. I think it's tryptophan extraction on Friday, isn't it?
No, it's the biggest shopping day in the year. That's when everyone does all the tryptophan on Thursday, and then to work it off, they go shopping on Friday.
You are correct, sir. I forgot about that.
So that Friday, that can be college, Thanksgiving, and shopping day.
Well, so one spouse goes out to shop and the other gets football. I know what it's like in my house. 3rd down and 4.
Shotgun, empty backfield, 5 receivers on the line.
Collins throwing it wide open. Did he make the catch as Amani Toomer? No. He came down with it, but the ball was dislodged by Dwight Smith.
And it was really dislodged by Dwight Smith. Watch, Tiki Barber is on Amani Toomer. I mean, Rondé Barber, and they're playing a zone. They let it go. He has that pass. He has it in the end zone. And watch Dwight Smith come in right here. He has it. He doesn't come down with control of it. He knocks the ball out, the helmet off, and everything else loose.
A lot of helmet loosening tackles tonight. Now a 30-yard field goal attempt for Bryant. And that is good. So the Buck defense does the job thanks to Smith. He saves a touchdown. In effect, he saved them 4 points as they settle for 3, and it's 7-3.
Because Amani Toomer is wide open there. They had 2 receivers on this side, 3 on the other side, and look at that hit that Dwight Smith puts on him.
And the crowd oohing and eyeing.
See, it was a zone defense. Rondé Barber had him short. Dwight Smith had him deep. Michael Strahan said, "Oh, God, we got to hold on to that thing." Gary Collins had good pass protection on that drive, though. I mean, he has to feel pretty good about that because he got in a shotgun, open formation, no one to protect in the backfield, and he had plenty of time to make that throw.
Smith had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and they came late, and that's part of the reason that Dexter Jackson won the MVP award, because he had 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, and the voting is done slightly before the final gun.
Right, and Dwight Smith is playing free safety now, and he got those interceptions in the Super Bowl as a corner. In fact, that's what position he played for the Bucs last year. He was a nickel cornerback.
Reggie Barlow and Thomas Jones are back. Bryant's kick. Thomas Jones from the 10. Back to the 28-yard line. Monday Night Football from Tampa is being Budweiser. Bud Light providing the aerial coverage tonight high above Raymond James Stadium, where amazingly enough the Super Bowl champions are 1-4. That is their home record this season. Thomas Jones is the running back. He of the earlier touchdown up to the 34-yard line, picks up about 6.
You know what the Buccaneers did on that? They have a thing called speed break, and they just get in the huddle and they quickly break out of the huddle, run to the line of scrimmage, and snap the ball. It's not a no huddle, but it's a way to change momentum, to change the speed of the game. Just watch. This is a play before. You see how they all run up there? They all run up, including the quarterback. Get set. Don't let the defense get set. Snap the ball and take off. So they'll mix that in with their no huddle and their regular huddle, speed huddle.
Work for 6.5 here, and it's 2nd down and 3 under 6 minutes to play in the half. Bucs lead by 4. Stecker takes the toss, and then he's run out of bounds by Mike Barrow near the 1st down marker. We were talking about the Bucs losses. There it was on the 14th of September. First team in the history of the league losing a game on a missed extra point on the last play, and then they lost an OT. Then the Monday nighter. Who could have believed it? John Gruden said after that game, "I felt like my house was struck by lightning." And then last week the game was tied, and the Packers went 98 yards against this defense, which before the season was being compared with the greatest of all time, including the '85 Bears, and the Packers won the game. 3rd and 1. Pittman, and behind a Darian Barnes block, picks up the 1st down, and Ryan Clark is there to stop what would have been a huge game.
You know, and that's the thing that got the Bucs going in the Super Bowl too, is just the running game. Watch Cozy Coleman here. He's a left guard. You see him pull around and make that block right there. That's the one that sprung Michael Pittman. But the thing is The Bucs seem to settle down when they can just take about 5 or 6 plays and just pound the run right at you.
Now Thomas Jones in the game, alternating running backs here as Johnson throws a little wobbly pass, but right on target, and McCardell picks up the first down into Giant territory. They'll spot it at the 43.
And that's the same pass pattern that McCardell caught and fumbled on the last drive. Remember that, where they clear out inside, he comes from the outside, underneath in the middle. That time, and that's the thing that Brad Johnson will do too, and that John Gruden will do too. You see, as you clear here and you come under here, it's the same pass pattern. They know that it worked last time. It works against his own. This time, McCardell catches it and keeps it.
4 minutes to go in the half on first down from the 43-yard line. Johnson has time. A flag is down, intended for Jaravicius, nearly picked by Walker. Get the call from Terry McCauley.
Do you feel that Frank Walker has a lot of confidence out there for a rookie corner from Tuskegee?
He does.
Holding offense, number 76, 10-yard penalty, first down.
He looks like a gambler to me, too. A guy who will try for a lot of interceptions.
And I think he's that kind of guy because he knows that he has speed, and he came in. I mean, he came out of Tuskegee. He's a 6th-round draft choice. He comes in with more confidence and talent, but he's developing talent. I know that one of the things that they call him is Frankie the Freak. But I mean, he plays. You can just tell the way he plays that. You know, I mean, he plays like he's been in this league for 10 years, and he just got here yesterday.
First and 10 at the 47-yard line, and that is McCardell, who gets whacked by Omar Stoudemire. Some huge hitting by both secondaries tonight.
I'll tell you, we saw the other one when you come from the outside. This is just what they call the seam route. And you're just going to come up here and you run right up the seam and try and get in the seam of the zone. And you see, you try and get between that short guy and the outside guy right there. There's the seam, but the ball has to get there a little quicker. I mean, when you're going to hit that seam going up the field, you got a split second to get it there.
Second and 20 from the 47-yard line. Johnson throws, caught, and that's Charles Lee inside the 30, the 20, and the guy who Gruden said, "Hey, pal, get ready. Keyshawn's gone. You're my man," has scored his first NFL touchdown.
It wasn't one of those plays that was set up to go deep. It was just a slant play. He was going against the grain, and he took it all the way to the end zone. I was impressed how big Charles Lee is. You know, he's about 225, 230 pounds. I watched him in practice the other day, and I said, I don't remember this guy being that big at Green Bay.
So the extra point here for Gramatica after the 53-yard score. That was Lee's first touchdown as a Buck. He caught his first pass of the year tonight. Earlier, he scored 1 touchdown with Green Bay in 2001. But he is the man. He is the man filling in for number 19, and he is the man of the moment right now.
And he's right out here, and he's just going to come in and run a slant. You see, up 3 steps, and he hit right there. Then he just goes against the vein. He just finds where that zone is, where those white jerseys are going, and he just goes right in between them. But I'll tell you, he got 1 block. Watch Keenan McCardell right here. That's what you need if you're going to make a big play. That's one thing that the wide receivers of the Bucs, including Keyshawn Johnson, were always very good blockers.
Longest play allowed by the Giant defense this season, and it comes with 3:37 remaining in the first half. The Buccaneers on top by 11. Tampa Bay next week goes to Jacksonville. That's the Sunday nighter on ESPN. Then to New Orleans and home with Houston and Atlanta, and then at Tennessee. So if the Bucs can win, if they go to 5-6, the only team remaining on their schedule with a winning record would be the Titans. Last last weekend of the year. Gramatica sends a ground ball up the middle that is shoveled back to Brian Mitchell. And Mitchell up to the 31-yard line. Tampa Bay has suffered excruciating losses. So have the Giants. Of course, you go back to the Monday nighter when the kickoff went out of bounds with 11 seconds, and then Quincy Carter got him into field goal range, and Cundiff made his 6th of 7 field goals, the 7th in overtime. Then Westbrook ran back a punt for 84 yards to beat him against the Eagles. Then the Falcons, having a disastrous year, go into the Meadowlands and just rout the Giants. And then last week Philly beats him again. Brian Westbrook, meanwhile, the Philadelphia has scored 5 touchdowns this season against the Giants. Collins from the shotgun, and he just flings it out of bounds, out of the side of his hand.
No one got open on that, but it was interesting. That formation was the same one that they threw in the end zone to Amani Toomer, and they thought that he had protection. They had guys open. So what it is, it's a shotgun, and they have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. See, here's Kerry Carter, Kerry Collins. There's 3 wide receivers on this side, 2 wide receivers on that side. So they spread them out.
Number 5.
Well, what's happening here is you have to at least attempt to throw it to the line of scrimmage. This is what I'm thinking is Collins does it. He's just flinging it away. You have to at least make an attempt to throw it back toward the line of scrimmage, and that's not even close. And then Warren Sapp started to plead his case right after the play with the officials. They had a little bit of a conference, and the next thing you know, the yellow came out.
Yeah, but I think that they got that confidence again going back to that formation. They got that confidence when they were on the goal line, but it's a different thing now. They didn't have the drive. It was a first down, and this Tampa Bay Buck defense is a lot fresher. That's a 12-yard loss, and loss of down, of course. And now they give the ball to Dorsey Levens, and the longtime Packer comes in. Flag thrown on this play, and that's Levens' first carry of the night. He's the backup to Tiki Barber with the Giants. Jim Wansley saying it's holding on the Giants, and it is holding on the Giants. Might decline it. It's going to be third down at about 20.
Number 82. Penalties decline. Third down.
Yeah, you might as well decline it here.
This has to drive Jim Fossil crazy, though. I mean, you get some plays, you get some things going, and then you complete one in the end zone, and the ball flies off, the helmet flies off, and think, well, we get something going here. And then you start, and you get a penalty, then you get another penalty, and it just seems like every step they take forward, they take 2 backward.
Simeon Rice has just limped off the field for Tampa Bay up front. He of the 11 sacks. Fake draw on 3rd and 20. Collins throws it over the middle and right there for Toomer, who couldn't hold it. Boy, that would have been a huge play to get the Giants right back in it. 4th and 20 instead.
That was a heck of a throw by Kerry Collins. The Bucs only rushed 3 guys, so that means that they're defending 8. And we talked about that seam pass, and here we got it just right up here, right in the middle. And you see Toomer there. He's going to be wide open right there. Collins hits him right in the hand. I mean, there's no excuse for that. You have to catch a ball, and this may be a touchdown.
Sure.
I mean, he hit him running, full speed.
Right there, splits the safeties. 4th and 20.
I wonder if Amani Toomer's still feeling that hit of Dwight Smith in the end zone.
Good point. Fiegel's punt, fair caught by Reggie Barlow at the 33-yard line with 2:37 remaining in the first half, and Tampa Bay on top 14-3. That was a monstrous hit absorbed by Toomer earlier in the end zone. So Amani has come very close to 2 touchdowns tonight.
Yeah, and this one here, again, the ball was right there. He caught it, and just as he came down, Dwight Smith unloads on him. This one here, he's just wide open. There's no one around him to unload on him. Amani Toomer is better than that, because you watch, and behind him, there's no one there. I mean, there's no one. If he catches that full speed going, there's no one between he and the end zone.
And it would have been 14-10. Instead, it's 14-3. Tampa has the ball, and Stecker is stopped by Strahan near the line of scrimmage.
You know, I think when you play the Giants, because they don't have any other defensive linemen now that really can rush or pressure the passer, you just put all the attention on Michael Strahan.
There's no question.
And then someone else has to make a play.
And you know, John, you think about it, one of the reasons they went out and spent their top pick on a defensive lineman was that, and it's William Joseph, and he's been inactive for most games this season.
And then, you know, on the running play, you know that if you don't block him, he's going to come down and make a tackle.
2-minute warning, 14-3 Tampa Bay. McKay about the Keyshawn Johnson thing. Martin Gramatica, you know, I saw him before the game, John. He was very disappointed. He didn't advance. I said, listen to John, you have to play the drums. You have to play an instrument.
Yeah, that's right. And then tonight, I think the guy that plays the keyboard beats the guitar because that looks harder to do.
The instrument is the key. 2nd and 10. And that's doubling, and he loses the football. Did he ever have it? No, he didn't. Mike Barrow extracted it, and so it's incomplete. 3rd down.
One thing about this Giant defense, I mean, other than that slant for the touchdown, I mean, they've been around the ball, they've been tackling, they've been playing pretty well. I mean, they're playing with a little life. They just let Tampa Bay get a couple of big plays.
Johnny Lynn, the defensive coordinator, and a man who has interviewed for the head job at the University of Arizona. I should know about that shortly. 3rd down and 10. And it's underneath, caught. Shy of the first, and the Giants will take a timeout because they're going to get the ball back. And New York will get it back after the Tampa punt. Timeout here. 14-3 Tampa. Just for the record, I mentioned William Joseph inactive. He's inactive tonight. He's played this year, but sparingly. The Giants' #1 pick, the defensive tackle. Tom Tupa to punt, Brian Mitchell to run it back. Low liner. Mitchell at the 30 gets a block and then brings it back up to the 38-yard line. And the Giants have 1 timeout remaining as they take over at the 38-yard line. There, the Barber twins, growing up in Virginia, attending the University of Virginia. Mom Geraldine, who they love dearly.
And she has to be proud of them. I mean, you know, what they turned into, and they're more than football players. I mean, they're gentlemen, and they're leaders in their community, and they're givers, and they're just 2 good people.
2 very bright people. Collins lost the ball for the moment, gets it back, and that's Warren Sapp coming in and creating the fumble and getting the sack. 4 for Warren now this season.
You know that when you're going to get pressure inside, you're going to still get it from Warren Sapp, so you better get him double.
2nd and 16. That's Hilliard, and Rondé Barber says you're not going any farther than the 38-yard line.
Yeah, I was talking about how proud their mother has to be of the Barber twins, but they're equally or more proud of her.
3rd and 9. Collins pressured. He's going to run, something that doesn't happen very often, but with great effectiveness here as he takes it to the 40-yard line, and he's popped by Jermaine Phillips.
You know, and probably because he never runs is a reason there was such a big lane. And, you know, because they don't have to worry about him running. You don't worry about anything. You just go for a spot like right here. He's going to be right here. The Bucs know that, so they all come. But look at the lanes that they get. I mean, they drop off in pass coverage and they rush up the field and then give him that big lane. And I think he could see that he could take this thing all the way for a 1st down before this was going to happen.
Collins, coming into the game, had rushed 15 times this year for 27 yards. That run by Collins, who has been in the league for a while, was the longest of his career, 22 yards.
And the Giants now, you know, have taken their last time out, so this is one that they have to try and get out of bounds. If they complete it inside, they're going to have to run up to the line and spike it.
1st and 10 now out of the shotgun from the 40-yard line. Collins under pressure and then fires it over to the bench. Simeon Rice was putting the heat on.
And this is where it's tough. I mean, you have to trust your offensive line, but you know they know there's no threat of a run here. I mean, these four guys are very good at it. These four defensive linemen, they're just going to rush. They're just going to take off. They don't worry about his running. They're just going to a spot where they know or think he's going to be.
The venerable offensive line coach, Jim McNally, watching his troops having to stem this rush, and they run a draw play. What a call. Barber takes it down to the 21, and now they have to get up there and spike it without a timeout. And Barber gets tackled by Rondé Barber.
Right, and the Bucs run a blitz. They were going after him. They were going on an all-out blitz, and they hit him with a run right up the middle and just split their blitz.
And Collins spikes it here. 2nd down and 10 with 17 ticks.
They said there's no way they're going to run. They have no timeouts. Here's Tiki Barber right here. Watch this blitz. Here they come, here they come, here they come. And he just runs right by the blitz. The blitzers are going after Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins hands to Tiki Barber, and there he goes.
At worst, it puts him in field goal range. The ball now at the 20-yard line. 22-yard run by Collins, a 20-yard run by Barber are the key plays here. And now Collins to Barber, who's better look to get out of bounds, and he does at the 17-yard line. Now with 11 seconds, the quandary is, if you run a play and it's in the middle of the field and you don't get out of bounds, can you get up there and spike it in time?
No, you can't. So what you have to do is you have to throw it in the end zone. If you're going to take this down and not kick it, you better throw the ball into the end zone. It's either going to be a touchdown or an incomplete pass.
Especially on 3rd down, because if you picked up 6, it wouldn't matter if you spiked it or not. You'd be out of downs.
No, he has to throw it in the end zone.
Collins instead loses the ball, so they won't even get a field goal attempt. Simeon Rice creates the fumble, and Tampa Bay will have it as the clock runs to 000. 3rd fumble by Collins tonight, 99 for his career. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will go to the locker room on top by 11.
But Simeon Rice just goes right around Luke Pettigrew. And we talk about, you know, how tacklers knock the ball out, pass rushers knock the ball out of quarterback's hands.
Monday night at the mic with Brian Scott. Kyle Turley coming up. We'll talk to Rich McKay of the Tampa Bay Bucs as well when we come back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much you left, I'm a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of mine.
Tampa, Florida. Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero on this Monday night. Bucs lead 14-3, and Tampa will get the ball after the Giants coughed it up, costing them a field goal opportunity at worst at the end of the first half. And now Reggie Barlow back, and of course you have to have the disclaimer every time you do Tampa Bay. This team has never had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Born in 1976. So it's been close to 3 decades. Will it happen here? Thomas Jones. I guess not. Up to the 28. Let's check in with Lisa.
Hey, Al, well, John Gruden ran off the field at halftime with a smile on his face. He told me he was very pleased with his team, especially the defense. But he said, you know what, we've got to play for an entire 60 minutes. Meanwhile, Jim Fossil told me that despite their 7 penalties, his team was going to go out and play hard, hit hard. He guaranteed it.
They better.
Well, you know, I mean, I go back to that last play, you know, where they had 1 shot for the end zone, and I don't know why they didn't go maximum protection, because all you have to do is you're not going to get a guy that, you know, could be in the middle. You know, he could chip. You can have, you know, double, but do something for Simeon Rice.
And Cardell makes the catch on the outside, spun around, knocked down by Mike Barrow. Short game. Some of the numbers now through the first half. Giants with 2 turnovers, including that one at the end. The yardage is about even. And another key thing would be the penalties. The Giants had 7. The Bucs had 1, and the Giants had 3 of them on the Tampa Bay touchdown drive.
Right, and the other key thing where the Amani Toomer drop in the middle of the field, it could have been a touchdown. That sack and fumble the last play of the half.
And that's caught by McCardell. In fact, with a flag down here, McCardell could have had 2 touchdowns, or Toomer could have had 2 touchdowns in the first half. Keith Hamilton will be flagged here.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 92. Penalties decline.
It's Michael Strahan who gets flagged. McCauley said, wait a second.
Decline. First down.
McCauley said, I've got the mic. Come on.
Yeah, and I think Strahan was trying to say to him, watch it on replay and see if there is hands to the face. There's no hands to the face yet. Well, I guess his right hand is right up underneath Kenyatta Walker. Watch his right hand. Yep, he has his hand. No, that's not to the face. I see what Michael Strahan's saying. That wasn't to the face. He said, watch that, and it wasn't. He had his right hand under Kenyatta Walker's shoulder pad.
Anyway, so the flag come in, the penalty on Strahan, but Hamilton planted Johnson. And Johnson throws, caught by McCardell, and he's tackled there by Will Allen, a little short of midfield. Giants tonight. Miscues. There have been enough of them. Face mask call right there. Another one right there. And then Toomer gets whacked in the end zone, and then he drops that one after splitting the safeties. And then the coup de grace is the last play of the first half, costing them any opportunity for a field goal. Pittman, there's another flag as Pittman gets to the 50-yard line on a 2nd and short.
Yeah, I think when McCauley called that on Strahan.
Offense, number 67.
He didn't have a flag.
Second down.
He didn't have a flag left to call on Hamilton.
That's right.
He already threw it and said, that's my penalty, and I'm sticking with that one. And maybe the other one, he did get away with something.
Well, the guy who knows what a flag looks like is Kenyatta Walker, who has just reassumed the undisputed possession of the league lead in individual penalties right here.
Right, and he just goes out there and grabs Michael Strahan. That was right off the bat. I mean, that wasn't inadvertent or anything.
2nd down and 12. Johnson fires. That's Barlow making the catch, losing the ball. And the Giants appear to have recovered at the 50-yard line.
Look at Frankie the Freak. He's trying to get in there late and get that ball. The ball's all over. Frank Walker tries to get in and get underneath that pile. Well, they always say that underneath the pile it'll change 2 or 3 times, and it's not the guy that gets it first, it's the guy that gets it last. That was a Giant. And the Giants have it. I think it's Johnny Harris, who's at the bottom of the pile, who comes up with the fumble. That's Reggie Barlow here. He's the inside receiver right there. And he's coming up, and he's just running in the end. He has that ball right there. Then he starts to turn and put it away, and the ball's knocked out. It's the old double dip there. Johnny Harris forced fumble and fumble recovery. Well, that's Johnny Harris's second. He did that same thing earlier in the first half. Remember, come in and make that chop tackle. Collins begins from the 50-yard line. Pass to Rivers, and the tight end filling in for Shockey picks up 17 with a little spin at the end of the 33-yard line. So I think they run everyone else off and just leave Marcellus Rivers there. Watch him. He just goes like he's blocking, just stands there, and they get the ball out to him. Just a short pass where you let your wide receivers run everyone off. Your tight end just stands in the line of scrimmage and releases on the second wave. From the 33-yard line on first down. Collins gets rid of it in a hurry, and it's caught here by David Tyree, the rookie out of Syracuse, 6th-round pick. Great value for him. Special team standout, tackled by Lynch. And that was what they call a hot receiver. You know how you always say that you have to throw hot. That means when you can't block them all, you're going to have one blitzer coming free. You have to get rid of the ball quickly before he gets there. Look at the stars for the Giants. 3 fumbles for Collins, the key. One of them, though, was the little toss
to Barber, which statistically is a Collins fumble, but Tiki was more to blame. On 2nd down and 6, now Barber takes it to the 29-yard line. 3rd and 5. Greg Spires makes the tackle.
There's a guy that had a great end of the season last year was Greg Spires. Remember in the playoff, the championship, and in the Super Bowl. In fact, he was the guy that kind of set the tone in the Super Bowl and had such a big end of last year, but has not had a good year this year.
That's right. He set the tone. You have Sapp and Rice and McFarland, and then all of a sudden, who's this other guy? And the Raiders went, uh-oh. On 3rd and 6, and it's caught by David Tyree, and he gets inside the 20 to the 19-yard line, and that's a 1st down.
Yeah, we see on passing down, I think, you know, we know what the Bucs are doing to Michael Strahan. I think that the Giants are going to have to give Luke Pettigrew a little help over here on Simeon Rice. Now he does okay there, but I think that, you know, Kerry Collins has to step up. But if you want him free down here, you better do something to help Luke Pettigrew against Simeon Rice right now.
From the 18. Barber, nowhere to go. The line stopped him at first, and then Quarles comes in to finish him off.
Heck, one of the things they ran away from Simeon Rice. One of the things that you feel that you can do or should do is run right at him. You know, I always wonder about this defensive line rotation. When you're paying a guy a whole lot of money, and you're down here inside the red zone, why is he on the sideline with his helmet off? You know, I know they say rotate, you know, keep him fresh. That doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Instead of him, it's Chartra Darby in the game. 2nd down and 11. And Collins flings it to the outside, and that is incomplete as Wansley provided the coverage on Ike Hilliard. 3rd down and 11 upcoming now.
You know, we always talk about running backs and things that they have to do. And I'll tell you one thing they have to do is they have to be able to block. If you can't block and pick up a blitz like Tiki Barber does there, that's a heck of a block, and that's what gives Kerry Collins the time to get the ball out there.
Timeout taken here.
And in this league, if the running back can't pass protect, you can't put him in the game.
That was an official's timeout. Wanted to get a new ball in the game, so they reset the play clock, and here we go again. 3rd down and 11 at the 19-yard line. 9.5 to go in the 3rd. Bucs begin to crowd the line. Will they come? Yes, they do. The pass is caught on the outside by Toomer, and he's run out of bounds at the 12 by Wansley, and so the Giants will be forced to settle for a Bryant field goal attempt.
Yeah, and that's what they can do when you get 3rd and long. You come on the blitz and you make them throw to the hot receiver, and then make sure that that receiver is less than the 1st down. I mean, he can't hold the ball, so he can't let his receivers get down beyond the 1st down marker.
That's what they do, and they limit the Giants to a 3-point attempt from 30 yards from Matt Bryant. Eagles will hold it. Carson Dock will snap it. And the Giants tack on 3. With 9:21 remaining, they cash in off the turnover. And it's Tampa Bay 14 and the Giants 6. I feel like this is all my family. There is Doc Rivers. A week ago, the head coach of the Orlando Magic, and their loss is our gain. He's my new partner on NBA basketball. We get underway Christmas Day, Houston and the Lakers. My man Doc right here. Got Doc, John Madden. It's perfect.
Well, it's great to have Doc here, but when you do basketball, besides giving him that headset, you're going to give him the mic too, aren't you?
Oh, you better believe it.
So you just don't have to sit there and listen.
No, absolutely.
Doc, the next time we'll give you something to talk with.
Doc's just resting his voice, getting ready for Christmas night. Here's Thomas Jones taking it from the 9 up to the 25. Doc's still living in Orlando, so we're sending him on his way on I-4 and look forward to Christmas night. 9:16 remaining in the 3rd. 14-6 Buccaneers. Wednesday night, Trista and Ryan's wedding right here on ABC as Tampa Bay begins this drive with Michael Pittman taking it up to the 31, and let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Al, for most moms, it would be a dream come true to see their son play on Monday Night Football. But for Geraldine Barber, it's a dream come true ×2. Both of her sons, Tiki and Rondé, heading off tonight. All right, first and foremost, I've got to ask you the obvious. Who are you rooting for tonight, Mrs. Barber?
I'm rooting for my son. You'd think that having found out about this game at the beginning of the season that I'd be ready for it. All I can tell you is that I'm rooting for my son, and I'm not ready for this game. I'm kind of anxious for it to be over.
Well, both of your sons are very smart. They're articulate. They are very good guys. They say that they owe that all to their mother. They filled out a questionnaire, and they said you are their hero, and that must make you very proud.
I am very proud of my sons. They've done extremely well, and I could turn the tables on them and say that we've been through some tough times, and they've kept me going through those tough times. I'm just more proud than I could ever voice in words.
Thanks so much for visiting with us, Mrs. Barber, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Back up to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Lisa. And right now it is Rondé's team, 14, and Tiki's team, 6. And that last pass went to Joe Jaravicius over the middle to give the Bucks a first down at the 18. A 22-yard pickup, and now they give it to Thomas Jones. And Jones picks up about 4. It'll be second down and 6.
You see that last play was that speed break again, and you know that's the thing that John Gruden will do. I mean, he does a number of things. As I said earlier, he'll go no huddle. He'll do that speed break, just run up to the line of scrimmage, run the ball. He'll substitute many packages, all to keep the defense off balance, where they can't key in or cue in on anything they're doing.
Second down and 7. Johnson repositioning his guys, and the play clock's going to run down, so Brad has to take a timeout to stop the clock. 7:12 left in the third. 8-point Tampa lead. The defense rests, and we can tell you that the Titans go to the Meadowlands next week. The Tennessee Titans making their sole Monday night appearance of the season against the Jets. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Bucks go cross-state to Jacksonville on ESPN. That's Sunday night, and they hope to do that with a record of 5-6 as they try to climb back in to this playoff race. Tampa, after taking its time out, second down and 7 now at the New York 44-yard line as Johnson throws. Open over the middle was Michael Pittman, and it looked like the Giant defense. The secondary looked a little confused, and Johnson exploited it at the 21-yard line.
Yeah, it was because they had 3 wide receivers out here to the right, and they overloaded this side, and then they came to the backside. See, Pittman's here. They have 3 wide receivers out here. So then this is away. The coverage goes this way, and here comes Pittman that way. You see, they have 3 wide receivers out there, so that takes the coverage over to their left and leaves the middle wide open for Mike Pittman.
You're snapping the ball, and you've got backs and linebackers pointing. You know you're in a little trouble. 23-yard gain, ball at the 21-yard line. Pittman to the 11, and now Pittman and Thomas Jones, they're not quite Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott, but they're coming in and out, and they're both running very effectively here.
Well, he got a good block by his center, John Wade, and a good block by his fullback. That's what you have to do. The center here is going to come off and make a good block, and he's going to get one there. You see, he gets the center, then he gets a lead right there, and he's right in behind it. Hey, Pittman is a big, strong guy that runs with a heck of a lot of velocity.
Second and 1. Pittman again. That's enough to get across the yellow stripe. Pick up the first down to the 11-yard line. In the red zone, as you can see, the NFL, if you're outside the red zone, in other words, outside the opposition 20, you complete 60% of the passes. In the red zone, 50%. But Brad Johnson, look at those numbers. Right-hand column. Outside the red zone, he's about average. But once he gets inside the 20, he's great. He leads the NFL, completing 2/3 of his passes inside the 20.
Well, you know, he has to complete those passes inside the 20 because until tonight they only had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Right. And both of them by Allstott, and then tonight Jones got in, and that's Jones right here taking it to the 10, making it second down and 9.
And they give him a lot of formations down here. They don't get into those, basic formations or 2 tight ends. For example, that last formation the Bucs were in were 4 wide receivers. That one where they got that big pass, that was 4 wide receivers, an overload to the right side. So they don't give them those basic standard formations that a lot of offenses do inside the 20.
Second down and 9. Johnson, good protection, throws, hits his man inside the 5, and Keenan McCardell is tackled by Mike Barrow after he secures his 7th reception of the night.
And I think the key was what you said there, Al, is good pass protection. They start off with a bunch formation. But watch the pocket for him here. You see, and he can look and look and look, hold it, and then step up and throw. Here's Kenyatta Walker blocking against Michael Strahan, and he did it that time without any help. You know, once you do a lot of those doubles early, you don't have to do it the whole game.
Quick count as they rush to the line, and then Johnson has to throw it out of the end zone. So they pulled off one of those get to the line, snap it quickly, but no go that time.
Yeah, that was that speed break. In fact, they used that about 3 times on this drive.
And so the Giants, who had come up empty in stopping teams in their last 13 drives into the red zone, will finally, unless there's a fake here, not yield a touchdown. However, there's about a 98% probability they will yield a field goal.
Yeah, I don't think there will be a fake here.
Could be a penalty, who knows? Tom Tupa's a guy who could fake it were they so inclined. Former quarterback at Ohio State, and then Grammatica boots it through, so the little chip shot makes it 17-6 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I know it is, but I'm trying to think of which one. I think the drummer wins that. I mean, you always look at the thing that impresses you most by you not being able to do that they can do.
Piano against drum next week.
Yeah, I'll take drum.
Delvin Joyce at the 11-yard line. And Delvin Joyce with a good run back up to the 47-yard line to give the Giants nice starting position on this next drive. 3:36 remaining in the third quarter. Tampa Bay 17, New York 6.
Do you have any idea what's right around the corner for them?
No clue. They think they're at the Four Seasons. They have no idea what's coming this week. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. And here's Tiki Barber. And Tiki very close to a first down. And he's across that yellow stripe. And here is what's coming. Yep. John, you've made this America's 2nd favorite Thanksgiving treat.
Yep. Well, we have that and turkey and have the whole thing.
Melissa bringing in our turducken.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do anything with it this time.
Last year, I thought Pennzoil was coming out of it when you got into it. Here's Barber. And Tiki gets taken down after a good run to the 31-yard line with Dwight Smith. I mean, it smells good. And it tastes good.
It doesn't look good, though, does it?
No, it doesn't look great.
Because it's a turkey on the outside, and it's a duck and a chicken on the inside, and then it has 2 kinds of stuffing. So you just have to not look, close your eyes, and enjoy it.
Of course, this is for you, right? Was it asparagus?
No, that doesn't go.
From Castroville? No, that's an artichoke, right? 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Collins. And intercepted in the end zone by Dwight Smith. So they run the ball for a couple of first downs, and then Dwight Smith, who put that huge hit earlier on Amani Toomer and cost the Giants a touchdown, gets into a little soft shoe here with Wansley, and Tampa Bay has another turnover.
That's not one of the things that Kerry Collins does, is throw well out of the pocket. And we'll just watch the route here. See, first, Ike Hilliard is out here, and he's going to run up, and then he's going to run inside, then he's going to run back out, then he's going to run back up. That's called a scramble drill, but there was no chance that anything happened here. Now watch here. Warren Sapp is on the chase. And Kerry Collins says, if I don't throw this thing away, Warren Sapp is going to get me, but you don't throw it away in the middle of the field.
And so fumbles and interceptions and penalties. And the Giants tonight with enough ineptness that they remain down by 11. And then plowing through the middle is Pittman. And earlier, John, we talked about the Giants, the number, the points per 100 yards, and it's typical tonight. The team has gained 212 yards, and they have 6 points.
Yeah, and because somewhere they can't keep drives going. They don't have a rhythm. They don't get a consistency. And then they make bad plays, too. I mean, they've done some stupid things. I mean, like there, if you're going to throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds. You know, just before the halftime, help on your protection. Just put a couple guys in the end zone and take a shot. I mean, they've done some things really that aren't very bright.
Ernie, of course, he is the Giants general manager. And this team started this year as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Finished strong in the regular year last year. And this is Pittman. And then you begin to wonder, John, we're always talking about that hangover, that lap over. And the Giants, I mean, the last time they took the field in 2002 in the playoffs, they coughed up the game to San Francisco. They had the botched field goal attempt at the end of the game, and you wonder if that hasn't lapped over.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that happened to the Giants. I think that happened to the Oakland Raiders. I mean, I really felt the same thing about them, that you have to live with that the whole off season. Then you come to training camp, and you kind of have that on your mind rather than taking it to the next level.
3rd and 1, and on the ground, we'll pick up the first down here, I think, on a whirly bird by Michael Pittman. It looked like his forward progress netted him the first, and then he got spun around. And McCauley signals a first down.
Usually a whirly bird is not a first down. It means you get the ball going the other way, but that time he did get the first down.
This week, teams trailing by 11 or more. Baltimore, and that won yesterday against Seattle. Miami did it. Indy did it. Can the Giants do it? Not the way they look through 3 quarters, they can't, but we'll see. It's football. Who knows? Nobody knows anything. Tampa Bay 17 and the Giants 6, and Monday Night Football resumes after this from our ABC stations. Late local news to follow on ABC in most time zones. ESPN Sports Center on ESPN as we begin the 4th quarter. Tampa Bay leading 17-6. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Lisa Guerrero. Week 12 coming to a close here. 15 minutes remaining in regulation. 1st and 10. Buccaneers from their own 30-yard line. And Johnson floats one, and it's a spinning, turning catch made by Charles Lee, who earlier had that touchdown, and that's a 20-yard gain for the newly minted wide receiver.
You know, and that was 4 wide receivers in there. Charles Lee is out here to the left. He's working on Frank Walker, and you see, I think that's one of those fade stop things where you just throw it back to his outside shoulder.
I'm thinking about a challenge here.
That's not a bad idea.
And notice now the Bucs are going to race to the line. Well, it's too late. Johnson, and he's going to lose the ball. The arm was coming forward. They're going to rule incomplete as Johnson's arm was coming forward, but we'll take another look at the Charles Lee catch, and we saw that one replay. I'm not sure he was in bounds.
I don't know that speed break either is helping Tampa. Maybe it did on that play, but on that 3rd down play, I didn't.
Whoa, baby. Well, he's out of bounds as he secures it, where his feet in when he got possession of it. And
well, he didn't lose possession of it when he hit the ground. I mean, that's the thing that they're always looking for, that you have to maintain possession all the way through the catch.
No, and then there's a call here on the subsequent play. He's going to make the catch. He makes, well, the question is it's rolling around, and again, we're just looking at it for our own benefit right now and yours because it's too late to challenge it. But was he out of bounds? And now the question is, was Johnson's arm coming forward here? That was the call on an incomplete pass.
And that was that speed break huddle we talked about, and I think that the Bucs have kind of got fouled up doing that.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, second down.
So the arm was coming forward, but Kenyatta Walker touched it illegally, the offensive tackle.
Boy, the ball hit Kenyatta Walker. And poor Kenyatta Walker, he's just blocking, and the ball hits him in the right hip.
Yeah, he's innocent there.
Yeah. He gets blamed for enough. I mean, he's the hands to the face expert. Kenyatta Walker.
You're right. First and 15 at the 45-yard line. Jones takes it to the 50-yard line.
You know, one thing, I was talking to Brad Johnson the other day, and he says, he said, I can't see why Keyshawn didn't like this offense. He said, this offense, John Gruden's offense, is made for the quarterback, the running back, and the X. And Keyshawn Johnson was the X. And he said, if you can't like this offense, I don't know that there's any offense in football you can like, because it is set up for you as a receiver.
That's a great point. I mean, they throw the ball, even though it's referred to commonly as the West Coast. But what other offense would be better suited? And I think, too, John, we've discussed this over the past couple of days. The flag is thrown. And Keyshawn's a fine player. There's no question about it.
False start, offense, number 87, 5-yard penalty, second down.
But he knows it best of all. I mean, he's not a Randy Moss receiver. He's not a Terrell Owens type of receiver. Remember, a few years back, he said, I'm the star, and Wayne Corbett's the flashlight. So I think Keyshawn, Keyshawn wants to be in the limelight. And here, he was 1A at best. I mean, they had Keenan McCardell. They throw to their running back a lot, and he wasn't going to be in the spotlight.
Right. He's a blue-collar type of receiver. I mean, he's the guy that catches the stuff in the middle, the crosses, the hooks. He does the crack blocks. He's a very good blocker. But as I said, he's a blue-collar receiver. He's not an all-star receiver. He's not Randy Moss. He's not Terrell Owens. He's not those guys. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't sometimes catch 100 balls a year. That doesn't mean that he wasn't in the Pro Bowl. Someone voted for him to be in the Pro Bowl. Well, so it's probably somewhere in between.
There's a lot of limelight, of course, to be shared, because when you think of the Bucs over the last 3 years, this team may have as many high-profile people as any in football. And a lot of it's because of loquaciousness. There's one of them, Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Derek Brooks, Mike Allstott, the way he performs, and of course maybe the most high-profile coach in the league right now in John Gruden. So you can get, I mean, there's only one stage, 3rd down and 14, and a lot of guys sharing it. And that's intercepted, and the Giants get a huge break. The rookie Frank Walker is off to the end zone. Touchdown, Giants. A game-turning play for New York on a 56-yard run back by the rookie Frank Walker, who replaces the injured Will Peterson and the injured Ralph Brown at the corner.
And the Giants were in a dime defense. They had 6 defensive backs. They only rushed 3. So they're out there covering. So they're making Brad Johnson throw into coverage. See, they got 1, 2, 3 rushers. So he has his lane. He steps up. He had to hold the ball a little. And I'll tell you, Frank Walker took a gamble, as you said earlier, but he took the gamble and jumped right in front of the receiver. What's Jerk Jurevicius here is running it out. Frank Walker is reading, and instead of going for the tackle or the contact, he goes to jump right in front of Jurevicius.
Matt Bryant for the point after, and just the way he introduced himself in the lineups tonight, you can see how brassy and sassy it is, and he loves to gamble. And that gamble has put the Giants right back into the game, 17-13.
I'm Tiki. I'm Rondé. And this is our Monday Night.
Well, the rookie Frank Walker has just put the Giants back into the game, and Tiki's team was up by 11, and now the lead is 4. Rondé's team, rather. Tiki's team is trying to mount, as are the Bucs, a late season drive that will have to begin tonight. And we have a 4-point game and a line drive kick off the foot of Bryant. Reggie Barlow taken down up to the 30. yard line, and we'll go back to the last play.
You know, Frank Walker was playing a zone, and I think Brad Johnson read it as, man, watch him. He's going to drop off here and then just play this area and get the receiver coming to the outside. See, it looks like man-to-man. Brad Johnson reads man-man, but watch Walker. See, he just comes off there. He's playing zone. He has that deep outside. He takes it, gets a jump on it, and gets a touchdown with it.
A look that's all too familiar.
I wonder if Gruden thought that was man and it was zone.
From the 29, the Bucs with the ball. Again on the ground. Pittman tackled by Griffin. Let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Al, that interception by the Giants was ironic in light of what Warren Sapp told me recently. He said it is tough to bury a team in the NFL. You've got to dig a hole, knock them out, hit them over the head, drag them in, and shovel the dirt on top.
Well, that's something they've been unable to do a lot this season, especially going back to the last time we saw them on a Monday night when Indianapolis overcame that 21-point deficit.
You know what surprises me is that Michael Strahan isn't in there.
2nd and 7, and it's caught on the outside by McCardell. He's pushed out by Stoudemire. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Again, I don't remember the Giants doing much of that, is taking Strahan out. I mean, there's some guys that you rotate. Right now they have Frank Ferrara in there as the left defensive end, but you need a defensive play. Well, here he comes right now. So maybe it was after that interception. You know, I mean, that's the good thing about the interception is you intercept the ball and you score a touchdown. The bad thing for the defense is they have to go right back in there.
The Bucs, and Lisa was talking about this, losing 3 consecutive games. They're leading in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 1 now. From the 38-yard line. Off the fake, rolling, throwing, flag at the 50-yard line. Pass incomplete. Got a personal foul against the Giants. Holding against the Giants.
The Bucs did
2
something.
flags, yeah.
Yeah, the Bucs did something with Brad Johnson there that they don't do a lot of, and that's bootleg.
Defense, number 25, penalties decline. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. Number 95, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Well, that's Ferrara who stayed in there, and he gets the personal foul.
Yeah, and we were just talking about Frank Ferrara, the guy that is in there for Michael Strahan. Right now, no, you don't have to do that. I mean, that goes under the heading or the category of stupid. I mean, the ball is gone. You've chased him. You've flushed him. You made him throw the ball. Now get your hands off him. There's no need to do that.
On a 3rd and 1 after they'd re-signed Ferrara last week when Kenny Holmes went on injured reserve. Strahan still over on the sideline. That's the 4th first down for the Bucs tonight, thanks to a Giant penalty.
Aggressive is good. You want to be that, but you want to be smart with it.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line for the Buccaneers. Jones is going to spin it back. It's away from Ferrara, chased by Short, and then finally tackled by Walker.
I would think by now, if Michael Strahan doesn't have an injury, I would think he ought to be getting in there. I think he should be well rested.
You would think, and he looked like he was about ready to come back into the game. And now you've got a penalty against Tampa Bay, so the flag come down on the sideline after the tackle.
You know, one thing that the Bucs do probably more than anyone is crack.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense, number 22. 15-yard penalty, the down counts, 2nd down.
That was Thomas Jones who ran left then right and into the Giant bench and taunts, and that cost Tampa Bay yardage.
And that goes under the same category of stupid things that drive coaches crazy. And I'm sure John Gruden is saying the same thing. Yeah, Ferrara didn't have to do what he did. It was a stupid thing. And then Jones doesn't have to do what he did.
And when you tack on 15, it makes it 2nd and 23.
2nd down, 23.
Instead of 2nd and 8. lost the ball, did Johnson. And he recovers it at the 34-yard line. And now it's going to be 3rd down and a mile.
Aren't there a lot of reminders out here tonight from both of these teams why they're 4 and 6?
Absolutely.
And I think you could put it, under the heading too of consistency or lack of consistency. This is just a snap. I mean, it's not. It has nothing to do with Brad Johnson. John Wade, the center, just doesn't get the ball up.
Strahan is back in. This game has featured 6 turnovers, 13 penalties. I say featured advisedly. 3rd and 29. And Pittman. Strahan in on that tackle. And that's a sound that, and it's a resounding boo here, and that's the sound of a fandom that has a Super Bowl championship team and is 1-4 at home and just had 2 miserable series.
And they boo give up plays, and but it's still hard. I mean, you hate to just run the play and go to punt, but there's not many plays in any offense, and I know there's none in this offense where you have a play for 3rd and 25 or 3rd and 22 or whatever it is.
Delvin Joyce and not Brian Mitchell back for the Giants to return this Tom Tupa kick. Low liner. Joyce, who's had a couple of nice runbacks. And kickoff brings it back to the 33-yard line. So the Jets have it again with 9:26 left in regulation. 17-13 Tampa Bay. The Giants have it at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10. Collins throwing and rolling and catching it is Amani Toomer and staying in bounds and getting the 1st down after Rondé Barber had come in on a corner blitz.
That's the thing. Rondé Barber does a lot of things well, and one of them is blitzing. But I'll tell you, Kerry Collins was amazing getting that ball out of there against the blitz and making that throw to Amani Toomer. That was a heck of a play by Kerry Collins, and someone doesn't believe it was a catch.
We've got a challenge here. John Gruden is going to say, wait a second. That happened right in front of me.
Tampa Bay has challenged the ruling of the field, but the pass was complete.
And, well, the ball hits the ground, but if you secure it, follow with an act, a football-related act, it'll be a catch. We'll find out. Terry McAuley is still under the hood using the supposedly maximum allotted time, though it does run over. Again, does he have possession? Is he in bounds? Ball hitting the ground, but remember, that's the old Bert Emanuel rule that comes into play here, or it can, as long as you have possession and continue on with an act, germane to making a catch.
Right, that a part of the ball can touch the ground as long as you have control of it. Now, if the whole ball leaves and bounces back up into you, then it would be incomplete.
Or rolls around in there.
After review, the ball hit the ground between the receiver's arms. The pass is incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10 on the New York Giants 33-yard line. Tampa Bay is not charged a timeout.
Well, McCauley's estimation, it's between his arms and hitting the ground as he's possessing the ball, and thus an incompletion is ruled.
Right, had he possessed it, then he must have thought that he saw that ball bounce, because the ball can touch the ground if you have control of it. As you say, that goes back to the Bert Emanuel play.
So now it's 2nd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. Collins, and that's close to a first as Amani Toomer makes that catch with 9 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
You look at that score and you wonder the last time the Giants were down there if they should have went for 2, because if they don't make it, it would be 12 and they'd need 5. If they do make it, it would be 3 and they just need a field goal. And at that point in the game, I know Jim Fossil, I saw him right off the bat, he said 1. So he made the decision feeling that he was going to get down there maybe a couple more times in this game.
It's one of those right on the edge calls, because you're right. If you go for 2 and make it, you can tie it with a field goal. If you don't, there's not a big difference between 5 and 4. 3rd down and 1. And here's Barber, and can Tiki get the first down? He can't, and it's 4th down. So the Bucs come up with a big stop.
And you wonder what Mrs. Barber is rooting for on that one.
And that ball came loose as well. That ball came, Barber is able to recover it, but Tiki puts it on the ground again.
Watch it right there. Warren Sapp gets his right hand in there and pops it right out of Tiki Barber's hands. And I think the Giants feel there's no way that they're going to go for it on 4th down here. Well, that's one thing. I mean, Tiki Barber does fumble, and defenses, because of that, really go after the ball against him.
He's a marked man. Jeff Fiegels, he'll punt. Reggie Barlow standing back at his own 20-yard line. You can see him in the shot. Tampa sets up a return, but Barlow has to call for the fair catch. Pulls it in at the 14-yard line with 7:44 left in regulation. One team will keep its playoff hopes alive. The other will be on a ventilator. 17-13 Tampa Bay. All right. We'll put you right on top of it. Tampa Bay at the 14-yard line, 1st down. Halfway through the 4th quarter. And they begin with Michael Pittman picking up 3. Well, you've got the Twins going against each other tonight. So on that note, 2 brothers touchdown passes same day. It happened yesterday for only the 2nd time in history when Matt Hasselbeck threw 5 for Seattle. Tim Hasselbeck 1 for Washington. They both lost. And how about this? In the NHL tonight, Matthew Biron of the Florida Panthers scored against his brother Martin Biron, the goalie for Buffalo, as Florida won the game 2-1. Oh, brother. 2nd and 6 at the 18-yard line. Vicious, and he toe dances inbounds and gets the 1st down. Great play, got hit, saw exactly where the sideline was, and is able to stay inbounds and move the chains.
You know, Joe Jurevicius is just coming back off a knee injury. And you look, he's going to take himself out here. He's still not healthy. I mean, he's getting better, but he's still not back at full speed. And I'll tell you, they have really missed him. There we talk about Keyshawn Johnson and how important that he was. Joe Jurevicius was also very important to this offense.
Well, 2 TDs in the Monday night opener at Philadelphia. 2 great touchdown catches. And Joey, one-time New York Giant, began his pro career with the Giants coming out of Penn State.
These were 2 of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Oh, phenomenal. Johnson throws, and that is caught in the middle by Charles Lee. And Lee is up to the 34-yard line, penalty. Indication against the Giants.
Face mask, defense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That is Brandon Short.
That's Brandon Short's 2nd face mask penalty.
Right.
And the first one was on that blitz when he came in.
9 penalties, 71 yards against the Giants tonight.
I'll tell you one thing about this defense, though, the Giants, they're hanging in there. I mean, they're playing them tough. You know, they'll bend and don't break and all that type of thing. They're playing that very well.
On the 38-yard line, Pittman gets tackled by Keith Hamilton. Those penalties have really been costly tonight, too, because they've resulted in 5 first downs. Tampa Bay has 19 first downs, 5 of them on Giant penalties.
And I'll tell you, that's why the Giants are 4 and 6. I mean, you add those penalties and you add those, drop passes and, trying to throw the ball away and throwing an interception and not taking advantage of scoring opportunities. Just like before the half, they should have at least had 3 points. And you just add up all those opportunities, and that's ineptness.
Second down and 7. Johnson throws. That's caught. And close to a first down. McCardell, he's out of bounds right near the marker. And this is turning into exactly what the Bucs want, a clock-eating drive.
Yeah, and when you ask John Gruden, you know, in fact, you asked him yesterday, who's been a pleasant surprise? Who's played better for the Bucs this year than they played a year ago? And the one name that he comes up with is this guy right here, Keenan McCardell. I mean, he said, you know, he's everything that he wanted and more, and he said he's just a great competitor and a great guy.
And that's a first down.
I think you played golf with him somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, in Las Vegas this spring. Got to know Keenan, who originally was drafted by Cleveland. Then he, you know, it's kind of funny. I think about him in Jacksonville. I mean, he played with Jimmy Smith, and he was kind of the second guy. And then he comes here and he plays with Keyshawn Johnson. And he's sort of the second guy, even though he's like 1A. But, you know, you never hear him say boo.
You all set?
He has 698 catches in his career. And this is Michael Pittman taking it up to the 50-yard line. And, you know, McCardell in the Indianapolis game, I mean, he was on the horse trailer. He would have been there. The score was 35-14. We had him ready to go, but we were in Florida, so we had to have a recount. And thanks to those guys, Harrison and Manning and their mates, they had a different idea.
Well, when we were doing McCardell, these guys were just chads. Then we knocked the chads off. Up they bounced and out-bounced McCardell.
Yes, he did.
But we can make it up to him tonight. Maybe. I'm not saying we will, but I mean, maybe we can.
Second down and 8. And Johnson throws, and it's Charles Lee looking right over his shoulder, and he couldn't make the catch. McCardell this year, the interesting thing about Keenan is he scored 7 touchdowns. They've all come in the losses by the Bucs.
You know, I don't understand exactly how these guys do it, because he has a pulled hamstring and he hardly practices, so you don't get the timing. You talk about timing. Watch Brad Johnson here. You know, you feel a blitz and there's a free guy coming. To get rid of the ball like that and make a throw like that, that's darn near impossible.
Third and 8. Johnson going deep, and the catch is made. Is it in bounds? Yes. Pulled in at the 13-yard line by Michael Pittman. What a catch.
I think the Bucs felt that they were going to blitz and they wanted to go after the big one because the Giants had been blitzing. Here they come in the blitz and overload on the left side. They pick it up. And I'll tell you, Brad Johnson, again, that the second throw in a row that was great by getting it off.
Guaranteed challenge. I mean, if you're not going to challenge this, they have to challenge this.
Yeah, he's going to land out of bounds. But I don't even think this is close.
I don't either. And I'm waiting for, there has to be a challenge here.
We're not in the...
challenge the ruling in the field that the pass was complete.
And there is the call.
I'll tell you, Brad Johnson made 2 great throws. I mean, this is going to be overturned here, but he made 2 great throws under pressure and put the ball right on the money.
Early results is we'll see an overturn. Or in Florida, so come back.
This Wednesday.
Comes down in bounds, in effect. Up in the air he goes. And where he stops is on the chalk.
He really beat Ryan Clark. And Brad Johnson still made a heck of a throw, even though it was just about 6 inches too wide.
After review, the player laying it out of bounds with the football. It is an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down on the 50-yard line.
That's the goal. You know, John, you look at it, a lot of stuff comes down simultaneously. The ball is chest.
Right, and the thing is that's why instant replay is in, and that's why it's always going to be here, is this is wrong. This is a wrong call. The official made a mistake. He blew this one. The guy catches the ball, and he's out of bounds. I mean, that's clear. and then that's exactly what instant replay is for, is to correct a wrong.
And Brandon Short trying to get the umpire to say, hey, you know,
yeah,
congratulations.
No, but the guy called it a legal catch. He called it in bounds. He should have been saying, hey, I told, maybe that's what Brandon Short was saying. Hey, I told you so. You thought it was that. It was this.
And the umpire's why he doesn't want anything to do with that.
No.
It's a great shot. Here's Tom Tupa punting to Delvin Joyce on 4th down. The Giants will have all of their timeouts and the 2-minute warning. Ooh, close to a block, and it's a bad kick. And it was touched. It was touched at the line of scrimmage by Osi Umenyiora, the rookie out of Troy State, 30-yard kick, who got just a part of it. And Monday Night Football from Tampa is being brought to you by Bank of America Higher Standards. Nissan inviting you to shift the way you move through the world. And Norelco, ultra close, ultra comfortable. Well, this game is pretty close and pretty uncomfortable right now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have seen too many of their leads dissipate. Bud Light providing the aerial coverage. They led by 11. And here we go again in a situation Tampa's been in too often. From the 21-yard line. Collins. Deep. Intercepted by John Lynch at the 50-yard line. Then he fumbles but gets it back. Collins trying to go to the rookie David Tyree, and John Lynch comes over and picks it.
And John Lynch was just sitting in a zone. There was no blitz or anything there. He was just sitting there. Kerry Collins just makes a bad throw because he did have good pass protection. It was solid pass protection. Here's John Lynch right here, and you can just see him backing up in the zone, reading. None of the linebackers went for the play fake. John Lynch is just sitting back there. He sees the ball, and he goes and intercepts it. And watch John Lynch in the back. He's reading Kerry Collins all the way, and he becomes a receiver on that. That was not very good by Kerry Collins.
The Barbers. And now the Giants are compelled to take their timeouts on defense. At the 32-yard line, Tampa Bay on 1st down. This is Aaron Stecker taking the toss. And Stecker is able to stay in bounds and pick up the 1st down.
Yeah, we talk about that crack that they do, and they usually have their wide receivers doing the crack, and that time they had Michael Pittman, and he comes down on Keith Washington, and he got him right in the ear hole. I mean, that's the thing. It's the outside guy. Again, it's usually receivers coming down and blocking on a defensive end. Watch it. It's going to happen right here. Right there. I mean, he comes and he just climbed up his side, and that's what gets him around the play.
And it's perfect for Tampa, John, in that he picks up the 1st down, stays in bounds, and prohibits the Giants from taking a timeout there. So they can't take it on 1st down. They have to stop him here and then start taking them. But here goes Pittman. And Pittman is to the 14-yard line, and despite a 7-yard gain, they have no choice. They have to stop the clock with a timeout.
Right, and the Giant defense guessed wrong there. They came on a blitz, and they were expecting an inside run, and the Bucs just packed them all to the inside and ran the ball to the outside.
2:33 remaining in the 4th. So minus Keyshawn, how have the guys done? McCardell, 9 grabs. Charles Lee, big night. His first 5 catches of the season and a long touchdown reception. And Jaravicius, 3 for 43.
You know, one of the tough things, Al, playing down here if you're a center in Florida is staying dry. I mean, watch John Lynch here, the center. It's just tough. I mean, you know, because a quarterback is always on you saying, you know, give me a dry football, give me a dry football. And you're playing down here in the humidity and the heat, and it's tough for a center to always give him a dry football.
You don't think Wade will be seeing that replayed anytime soon, do you? Here's Stecker. He stopped. And now the Giants have to take a timeout, but more importantly now they're going to have to stop him on 3rd down.
But, you know, if you're a center, you don't care. I mean, they don't. I mean, if there's any group in the offensive line that doesn't care, or it's a group of centers. They don't care.
And you know what? It's not that hot tonight either.
Well, it is. I mean, if you weigh
well,
over
it is there.
I mean, if you weigh over 300 pounds and you've been moving all night like this, and it's in the 4th quarter and 2 minutes and something to go, it's hot. I'll guarantee you. Look at him. I mean, the color is sweating right through his numbers.
And I mean, the temperature is like under 70. Humidity's not too bad. I mean, good luck in early September in the 1 o'clock game.
Well, I mean, like for a 150-pound guy, I mean, that would be all right. A big old 300-pound guy, heck, he was probably sweating in warm-ups. Some of those guys sweat coming out of the locker room. Some of them sweat getting off the bus, going into the locker room.
That uniform has to weigh 10 more pounds. 3rd and 1. Key play for the Giants here. Have to stop him. Can they? Close. Very close. And the whistle will stop it here for a measurement. A very big measurement. The Giants have 1 timeout. This is not a timeout. This is a measurement right here.
And if it's not a 1st down, John Gruden's going to have a decision here. You know, does he go for it on 4th down, or does he try the field goal?
Well, it appears he's not even close. So that yellow line is close enough to being official. It's not, of course.
Well, in this 4th quarter, Keith Hamilton has made a couple of pretty big plays for the Giants inside there.
So now Gruden, if he gets the 1st down, he can come pretty close to ending the game. Not quite, but he can't take that chance. He's got to put Grammatica in there.
Here's Keith Hamilton right here. And you see they start to block down. The center comes off on him, and then he just goes right down the line of scrimmage. Comes from that off tackle position, goes down the line of scrimmage and squares up and comes back upfield.
Now, play will be whistled back in, so if the Giants elect not to use their timeout, the clock can run down to the 2-minute warning. And now, Tampa Bay takes a timeout?
Yes, they did.
For what reason? Well, maybe to think this over, but you know, that's a benefit to the Giants, because if Tampa Bay is going to kick the field goal, or whatever they're going to do, the clock would have gone down to the 2-minute warning, because the play clock would have been reset at 25, and that would have taken these 19 seconds all off the clock. Tampa Bay just did the Giants a big favor.
But I think that, as you said earlier, I think John Gruden wanted to reconsider. He's not going to go now for the field goal, and I think he's going to go for the 4th down. You know, go for it on 4th down. I think he thought, okay, let's do this. You know, and then let's not do it now. I wouldn't be surprised here. They still may not go for it.
Right, exactly. Or just try to pull them off.
That's what I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the 3 things you can do. I mean, you can go for it, you can try and pull them off sides, or you can just kick the field goal. So they have to be doing one of the first 2.
So it's 4th down and inches, and they are going for it. And I don't think he got it. And that will stop the clock for a change of possession. Give the Giants the 2-minute warning and a timeout. It couldn't have worked out more perfectly for New York in that sequence.
Oh, and John Gruden is saying, what happened? Well, what happened is you ran right into a goal line defense, and this time they guessed right. I mean, your goal line, your linemen can work out or they can take gaps. This time they just took gaps. The linebackers come off unblocked, hit the hole, and got them in the backfield. See, Pittman never gets squared up, never gets a chance to drive. The minute that he hits that line, they stop both his feet.
And again, if Tampa Bay wanted to go for it, they didn't have to call timeout. The clock would have started when the ball was signaled ready for play. They could have taken it to the 2-minute warning and made their choice at that point. Here's Collins rolling out on the run and then throwing it away. So a completely wasted timeout. And now let's see if the Giants take advantage of it.
Well, again, that's, I mean, at least on that one, Kerry Collins got the ball out of bounds. I mean, that's where, if he's had any area that has really been tough for him tonight, it's been trying to throw the ball away. I mean, he's made some bad decisions in that area.
2nd down and 10 at the 12-yard line. Collins swinging it to the near side, and that's overthrown. He had Ike Hilliard there about 12 yards downfield. 3rd down.
You're right. He did have Ike Hilliard. Ike Hilliard was wide open, and he just got that thing a little high. I don't know if he had to throw it high because of the rush, but Ike Hilliard had his guy beaten for a 1st down.
3rd down and 10. This will, in all likelihood, take us to the 2-minute warning. Collins under pressure, and he gets sacked. And there's a flag down. And Warren Sapp, somebody, was it Collins who had that towel? You've got a personal foul. You got a chop block against the Giants.
It's on Wayne Lucier, who was the left guard who was trying to block Warren Sapp.
Chop block. Offense. Number 62. Penalties decline. 4th down. That is the 2-minute warning.
The rookie Lucier. So the Giants will have a 4th down and will have to go for it at their own 3-yard line. 17-13 Tampa Bay. As well. Now the Giants in this situation having to go for it. You think about if they punted, they have 1 timeout. They could conceivably get the ball back with somewhere around 25 seconds if they stop the Bucs around midfield. Let's say it was a conventional punt. You take a safety here, you still have to kick. It's a free kick from the 20. You yield field position, but you still have that same quandary. So I think they have to go for it.
I think they have to go for it too. I wouldn't punt. If I were going to punt, I would take the safety, but I wouldn't do that in this situation. I think they need a play. Looks like they're taking another timeout.
They just used their last timeout. Now that's, I mean, think about this. Tampa Bay handed them an early holiday timeout. They couldn't take advantage of it. The clock stops at the 2-minute warning and officially 1:59. They just had about 2 minutes to discuss what they were going to do. They come up and now they have to take a timeout again. Now you can't punt, you can't take a safety, because once Tampa Bay got the ball, they could then run the clock out. The only way you could have even thought about punting or taking the safety was by not calling the timeout and saving it. You needed 1 to at least leave some time on the clock at the other end.
Well, Kerry Collins took the timeout, then he walked off the field, so they're sending the punt team in. And when he went over there, he didn't act like he was going to come back in. I think they talked about something like doing this and probably taking the safety.
Now, the only thing they can do, if they take the safety, then the only thing they can do is they can try an onside free kick from the 20-yard line. I mean, that's the only thing they could do, because they're out of timeouts right now. So if they really punt it, the game is going to be over. So here's your safety. Now you come out to the 20-yard line, and the only thing you can do now is try an onside free kick.
And that's exactly what they have to do. I mean, at least he's thinking that instead of going for it on 4th and long, what I'll do is I'll take my chances on trying to get a free kick and then get 4 more downs.
If the Buccaneers recover, they can run the clock out.
And now remember this, what a free kick is. It's from your 20-yard line, and you usually have your punter punt. You don't have your kickoff guy do it. but your punter can can onside kick it. Now the ball has to hit the ground. I mean, he can't kick it up in the air. He has to just kick it in like a pooch kick or something like that. Or you can put your kickoff guy in there with your kickoff team and have him onside kick it.
That big rumble you just heard in Vegas was not an earthquake. Trust me. They are going wild right now. 19-13 Tampa Bay. 6-point differential, and the Giants to attempt an onside kick. Giants to kick off again. It has to go 10 yards.
And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are their hands team, what we call an onside prevent. So they know what's coming.
The Giants without a timeout. Well, we have just seen some of the goofiest and pretty awful clock management ever.
One of the other things on a free kick is you can't use a tee, so they're just holding the ball.
Who's going to get it? It doesn't go 10 yards, but the Bucs can recover it before it does go 10 yards, and they do, and there's a flag down on the play. And the flag may be because the Giants may have touched it first, and if that's the case, it's the penalty zone.
Kicking King, penalties decline, first down.
Offside, and now the Tampa Bay Bucs with the football. So the Bucs now can run it out. Ken Dilger wound up recovering the football. The Giants cannot stop the clock. And this is the way it will come to an end, because this is going to take it down to about the 1:15 mark. And then the next snap will take it down to about the 25-second mark, and we can start thinking about the horse trailer player of the game.
And I think those people that have that sign are right, and we don't know exactly who it is yet, but like they say, we know who it's not. But I think his partner, the guy that played the other side of Keyshawn Johnson, wouldn't be a bad choice, Keenan McCardell. What do you think?
You know, I think it's kind of like the Thalberg Award, John. You know, when they give an award for a career achievement, I think, you know, Keenan McCardell played so brilliantly and beautifully against Indianapolis that night, and he would have been on the horse trailer. And again, he's not a clear-cut choice tonight. He had a real good game, made important catches. It's like, you know, John Wayne never won the Oscar, but they had to give him the Thalberg Award, so I think Keenan goes on the trailer.
Right. I mean, he did catch 9 passes, and Thalberg's pretty good.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not as good as the first one. He had the heartbreak right there, and then comes back tonight, and that's, I mean, it's not as good as getting it the first time, but it's better than nothing.
I can't remember if Wayne won the, well, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, I can't remember if he did or he didn't.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, you know where I'm coming from. Bob Hope. Now we're talking. I'm thinking of Bob Hope. There is the playoff picture right now. Dallas, Carolina, St. Louis, and Minnesota, your division leaders. Season ended tonight. Philly and Seattle would be the wild card contenders. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still breathing in the playoff hunt. And for the Giants, well, mathematically alive, but virtually out. 19-13 as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the game to go to 5-6, and the Giants are now 4-7. Coming up next will be the Autotrader.com postgame show when we wrap it up on Monday Night Football from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome to the Autotrader.com postgame show. Here now, Al Michaels.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win it. Big play right here. Charles Lee, second quarter with about 3.5 minutes remaining in the half. The guy who's going to see a lot of action with Keyshawn Johnson inactive. A 53-yard pass for a touchdown, and then Dwight Smith made that play to cost Amani Toomer and the Giants a touchdown. And then Toomer drops this one after he split the safeties. That would have been a touchdown in all likelihood. And Tampa Bay winds up winning the game 19-13. We were talking about, I think I was talking about John Wayne. We meant Bob Hope. Didn't win an Oscar, but it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. And the way this guy has played in his 2 Monday night appearances in the 2 games here. Keenan McCardell is on the horse trailer. He's also with Lisa.
Thanks very much, Al. Now, Keyshawn Johnson was lost this week for your team, but that meant that the pressure was on with the rest of the wide receivers. You all certainly stepped up tonight.
We did. Everybody had to do their part. You know, all week everybody was talking about the pressure was going to be on me, this, that, and the other. But I always said the pressure was going to be on everybody, not just me. It was going to be on the rest of the wide receivers, the line, the running game, and we played a total game. I mean, John has been telling us we needed to play as one heartbeat, and I think tonight we played as one heartbeat.
Keenan, you guys really needed this victory tonight to stay alive in the playoff race. Are you going to be able to carry this momentum now when you face the Jags next week to make it 2 in a row?
We hope so. I mean, you know, winning can get contagious, so I hope this is the start of it getting contagious. And, you know, we got a tough game, a short week going down to Jacksonville, a team that's hungry. And, you know, we need to get a win, so we got a lot of work left.
Big confidence builder for you guys tonight.
Oh, no doubt. We played a great team, and you got to give them credit. They fought to the very end.
Congratulations. Great job tonight. Al, back up to you.
Thank you, Lisa. You know, John, we looked it up. John Wayne did win it for True Grit in 1969. And there's a guy with True Grit right there.
True Grit all the way. I knew you were right.
Yeah, eventually. Took a little time. A lot of marbles rolling around in this head right now. So Keenan McCardell and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win it by a score of 19-13 to the Meadowlands. We go next Monday night, the Tennessee Titans against the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. For now, Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero, and our entire ABC crew saying good night from Tampa, Florida, where the Bucs beat the Giants 19-13.
A cushion. Charles Lee, the man there with the arrow, hasn't caught a pass all year long, replacing Keyshawn. So we're going to let him get free rein and not touch him till he's 6-7 yards down the field in a trail technique, which is embarrassing. Now we're down to the 2, so of course we're going to get in and score, right? All right, Brad drops back. This is pretty simple. Got good coverage, Giants. You're doing some things right. Don't do this. This isn't a physical error. It's a mental error. Grabbing the guy's face mask for a 15-yard penalty when the sack was going to happen. All right, now he fumbles. Now that ball should be a defensive guy's ball right now. All that space in between? No. Tampa Bay's a little bit more aware in the red zone. What a surprise. 13 touchdowns. Here it is. The 13th in a row for an opposing team. Red zone will kill you on offense and defense, and that epitomizes what the Giants are about this year.
Here's what it looks like. Through week 6, the Giants' defense in the red zone was actually the tops in the NFC. It's hard to believe. Since then, they've just been appalling, as we have certainly outlined here, allowing opponents to score in 12 of their 14 trips inside the 20. And as you can see, that is 14th in the NFC.
And, Rev, the most overrated statistic around is yards. You could have 700 yards, but you got to get points because there's a lot of yards between the 20s. You got to be able to score points to win games, too.
And the Giants get a lot of yards between the 20s.
That's exactly right.
We'll talk about the failings of their offense in a minute, but I want to stick with the defense.
Please.
That secondary, it's young. It's inexperienced, some journeymen in there. I mean, this is a secondary that's been banged up and had a lot of problems, and we saw them exposed by a guy that basically no one's heard of.
Well, Charles Lee, and he did a great job tonight. This is the guy who had to replace Keyshawn, the guy they expected to step in there and hopefully make a play. And you know what? Maybe they're not going to be too worried about Keyshawn not being there. So it's a combination bad Giants, good Charles Lee with some run after the catch. There you see at the top again the space. That's Charles Lee. That's a great throw by Brad. Right on the money, give your guy a chance to run. 2 guys in position to drive on the ball. Not a one of them gets a hand on him. Here comes the safety to make a tackle. His head's down. He doesn't see what he hits. Now you look at Will Allen, the overrun. That angle allows Charles Lee to get up the field. Now watch why that angle's so important. And look at Keenan McCardell making a great block. That angle's so important because he's able to step through this when he was going north and south to get to the end zone. And remember that block by McCardell, because the play before that, that's when he got knocked around by Omar Stoutmire. Great catch, run after the catch, the speed that they needed that they didn't have on this football team by Charles Lee.
And then you saw him do the Lambeau leap, and there's a reason for that. His only other touchdown was as a member of the Packers, and that was a while ago. 7th-round pick in the 2000 draft by Green Bay. 5 catches, 91 yards in that TD you saw on Monday. Had just 3 catches in the previous 2 seasons in 8 games played.
He made it happen tonight with those 91 yards receiving tonight. It was a big game for him. And I tell you what, John Gruden tried to prove a point by letting everybody know that, hey, Keyshawn's not here, so let's rub it in a little bit and throw it to the guy who replaced him.
And it certainly did his job. On the flip side, now the Giants' offense, as we were talking about, did not do its job. And you mentioned it. I mean, they moved the ball great between the 20s, and then anything that can go wrong does. I mean, penalties, turnovers, and we saw all that tonight.
And you know what? There comes a time when you've done it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that now that's a habit and it's a trend. And that's what the Giants are about. You are what you are at this point in the season, and error after error after error. Here, Tiki Barber going downhill, a pitch that's hard and low. Tiki normally catch. He's looking at the hole. There you see the ball. Hits him in the waist, lays it down, recovered by Tampa with the ball at midfield. And you're driving. It's a comedy is what it is. Little play action fake. Amani Toomer, wonderful season last year. The throw down the middle, a little bit high, but you know what? Gets 2 hands on it. That's got to be caught, and you take that to his house for a touchdown. Please catch that ball. There's a drop. There's a difference maker in the game. And have a look here now. We see the 2-on-2 just before half. Simeon Rice going to run right by Luke Pettigrew, give Kerry Collins no chance. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. I've never done it, but it looks easy. Then Kerry Collins. Now, you are too good. You've been in the league too long to do this. We see it every week going into the red zone. Kerry Collins scrambles out. What's he do? Instead of throwing it, he tries to throw it there. Don't do that. That's a big no. Throw it over here into the 4th row, and we'll tee it up and do it again. You cause your team trouble. Your bag balance. You throw off your back foot for an easy interception, Rev. Those things get you killed, and that's why that team is not really cost
One
us.
coach whose season is slipping away, another who may have bought himself another life. John Gruden now, the Buccaneers.
Again, we had some key penalties that put us way behind in good field position. Those are big negatives that really typify a 5-6 football team. Well, they need a touchdown either way to win the game, or excuse me, to tie the game potentially, maybe win the game with a 2-point conversion. It's 4th down on a foot. You know, we felt we had to play. It was a front we expected, and I tip my hat to the Giants. That's an area that we take great pride in. It could have been very, very costly tonight, but 10 out of 10 times I would choose to go for it in those circumstances. Yeah, they did. You know, they helped me with a lot of decisions around here. But I respect the pulse of the football team. And at the same time, you know, the management of the game is something that I think in that situation called for us to go for it. Yeah, we were a couple plays away from having a real big night throwing the ball. I think we had Charles Lee on a double move late in the game, big. Thought we had Pittman on a swing pattern, big. It was overruled. Charles Lee's a good player. You got a chance to be really good and then maybe someday great. But what can I say? It's the first start the young man has had on Monday Night Football in a game that he knew we needed him to play well. And he did do that for us.
As we were documenting, 27 turnovers now for the Giants. As you can see, only the Rams have more this season in the NFL. Cardinals and Ravens also on that list with 27. The guy who contributed with turnover number 27, John Lynch, visiting with our Hank Goldberg.
John, I know this was a week of turmoil for you guys to come out and get a win tonight. I know it was very important to all of you, wasn't it?
It sure was. You know, we lost a great teammate in Key. You know, he's gonna move on and do his thing, but we had to move forward, and I thought we handled it all really well. We came out and had probably our best week of practice all year, and you know, we played well enough to get a win. That's all we're looking for right now.
I know you're playing through an injury right now, and yet, you know, you come up with a big play at the end of the game. Can you talk a little bit about that interception?
Well, you know, this is the first week I really felt back to 100%, and that was great to be out there. we were back in our cover two, and they, you know, they were stretching us all night, but I just read Kerry's eyes, and he put it up there. I went and got it.
All the fourth quarter disasters that you faced this year, were you thinking about that as they had the ball at the end?
Yeah, I had the images. You know, Coach Gruden showed us these films of Mariano Rivera coming closing at Kirk Gibson's home run, so I wanted to be that guy to close it, and fortunately I was in the right place.
All right, John, thanks.
All right, thanks, Hank.
All right.
All right, we're done with this game, and I don't think anyone's particularly disappointed.
Let's move forward.
we move on, but Sean is not going anywhere. Still 5 weeks to play, and we need your expertise.
I'll be here.
We're going to need you to sort out the NFC playoff
I
picture,
can do that.
which could take literally months.
I'll try to fool them.
You'll have about 5 minutes or so.
That's right.
That's Sean Salisbury. He'll be back later in the show.